Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Asylum podcast episode. Is it 14? It is episode 14.
14
Just a little bit of hostility going in between the cast. Don't worry about it. It's all good. I hope you all enjoyed that cinematic. I'll link a link to it in chat in a moment, so you can all go and give it a follow and give it an upvote because you should. It was awesome. And as always, welcome everybody. Welcome, and today we have a little bit of madness, as always. Mr. Moist Noodle, and a very dodgy looking person in the corner.
Mystery guest. Turn to the side.
Except for his name's underneath. But...
Wait, what? My name's down there.
ruined the mystery. It's meant to be blacked out as well.
So basically, I signed a few NDAs, so I shouldn't really be on this show, but I had to speak out about the way CIG was mistreating avocados. But since my name is down here, I gotta go, I guess.
No, I think that's perfect. You should carry on anyway, because that's how these things happen. You break the NDA and someone does something stupid, like just put your name underneath. It's like...
Just put your serial code behind you, the one on your picture, and then you'll be fine.
Anonymous, and then the what's it called? The watermark. Just as Myre.
Put the watermark. Yay, there he is. Myre!
Good evening and welcome to the show, Myre.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Your busy schedule.
Second time's the charm, yeah.
Yeah. But to an all new show, because I think the last time you were on when this used to be called the Addicted Podcast, and so now we've got the Asylum. Yes. So hopefully it'll be
a whole new level of insanity.
A whole new level of insanity, yes. Good stuff.
So, Madness, how have you been this week? What have you been up to?
I've been great, actually. I'm really enjoying 3.1 as a patch. I've been doing lots of dogfighting, killing lots of people, dying lots of times myself in Arena Commander. It's not perfect. It's by no means nowhere. It's still not at like the same level in terms of certain things like IFCS and a few other bits and bobs with combat flight, but it's much closer to where it needs to be. For me, in my opinion, for where 3.0 I was hoping it to be. So, you know, with 3.1 now, flight's looking good. Combat's going to be is another focus. The fact that IFCS is something they're looking at. I saw in the notes and stuff that they're going to fix and they continue to fix, which is fantastic news, not just for the game, but for Squadron 42. So I'm really pumped. I'm happy about that. And I went to see Ready Player One today. And
Just player number one.
And I'm not joking. It took me from like when I was 8 years old to literally the age of 36 at the end of it. And I kind of finished out the cinema and I walked out, no spoilers, just walked out of the cinema and I was just like, that was freaking awesome. I want to go watch it again.
I can't wait to see it. I wanted to see it yesterday at the IMAX.
So good. So good. It was honestly, I mean, yeah, it was just, it's Spielberg at his best again, you know, and it was just fun. So that was awesome. And yeah, I'm in a really, really positive, fun, energetic mood, even though I've got a horrible sinus thingy going again, which is, I can't seem to shake them. They just keep coming back. So I do have a bit of a nasally sinus thing. But other than that, yeah, very good week.
I heard from that Ready Player One that people are saying that part of the reason people enjoy it is just because of this nostalgia trip, rather than it being necessarily a good film. So if you're not going to get the nostalgia from it, then
let me tell you what I've noticed: people who have read the book don't like it.
Well, that's like that.
People who haven't read the book like it. So that's what I'm noticing.
Yeah, I've not read the book, but the thing is I always go. Sometimes it's like, let the book be the book. And let the movie be the movie. Do you know what I mean? It's like, why do they have to be so much the same? It's like, it needs to be, it's like people who read the book go, oh, it must be. I'm like, no, it's an interpretation. It's Spielberg's interpretation of the book. I'm enjoying his interpretation. And I'll read the book and go, I enjoyed that for something totally different. It's like Harry Potter. I love the Harry Potter books. I think they're amazing. But I also enjoyed the films for what they are as well.
I've seen people saying this is Spielberg's worst work, while clearly people haven't seen fucking Jaws.
2, 3, and 4.
Hey man, I think
it's a fish. It's a fish. It's a movie about a fish.
An evil fish. Getcha.
I've just triggered loads of people, I bet.
Loved it.
Probably.
Loved it. No, it was nostalgic, yes, but I just thought the world was cool and it was fun and I just had a blast. I just thought it was awesome. So yeah, fuck them. I don't care what critics think.
Yeah, I've noticed I am dropping frames. I'm hoping it'll settle itself down. If not, I have to restart the router or something. But hopefully it will settle down. It happens now and again. Damn ISPs.
Damn ASPs.
And Moist, do you want to tell us what you've been up to?
No. No, I can't remember.
We can remember some of it.
I was on the captain's table on Friday night, I think. Or was it Saturday? No, yesterday. Saturday night, thank you.
It's when it normally is.
It's all blurred together.
Unless you're there all on your own. Just Moist sitting there going, oh, where's the rest of the captain's table?
Yeah, and we had some good discussions then yesterday. I was in London for an event, and here I am. And other than that, I've been streaming StarCitizen, so there we go.
Excellent. And for the very probably nobody that doesn't know, but Myre, who are you and what have you been up to?
Hi, my name is Myre, and I've been up to StarCitizen.
Yay! There we go. Excellent. Right, next. Get the next guest on. No, just kidding.
So my name is Myre. You can find me on twitch.tv/Myre. And I haven't been up to a whole bunch of StarCitizen very lately because we're kind of at a lull. I mean, like, yeah, we got the content 3.1, but at the same time, there still isn't anything much different in terms of gameplay loops from 3.1 and 3.0 to warrant me playing as much. So I'm kind of waiting for 3.2, honestly. So I've been doing a bunch of variety stuff in the meantime. What else I do? I do voice acting and stuff as well. You can find me on things like Bulkheads, as well as some other things, and some things soon to be happening but are under NDA.
Just cover yourself up and then tell us the NDA stuff. It's fine. No one will know. It's you. So is that more? Can you say anything about it, or is it completely NDA?
I mean, it's really boring stuff. The only one under NDA that's pretty neat, I can't tell you anything about, but it's nothing to do with StarCitizen, sadly.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. And you've been doing a few VR things with Noodle as well, I believe.
Yes, but Moist wasn't here over the weekend because he was at the bar citizen that I failed to go to. With Little Bit Madness, yeah. So yeah. So hopefully we can do more of that this Sunday with the few and anyone else who has VR at the time. We've been playing things like Star Trek Bridge Crew, which is. Yes, we bought shirts and everything. It's going to be amazing. We're going to we're going to get all our cameras and key ourselves out and basically just composite ourselves. So we're actually on a bridge on a stream. And then we've said that when we get hit and stuff, we're going to go, whoa, yeah.
Has anyone got a smoke generator so you can just?
That would be amazing. Or maybe it's a smoke GIF or something. You press the button.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah. Just have it as a GIF. That'd be cool. A couple of sparks or something coming off.
Does it have a red? It must have red alert in the game, right?
It does have a red alert button, and all it does is it makes a whoop whoop noise. And depending on your crew, the captain tells the crew beforehand how they react to red alerts. So you say, okay, so guys, when I press red alert, that basically means I don't have to say anything, but tactical puts the shields up. You do this. You stand by for repairs and overclock the guns or something.
Or you scream, jump to the floor and cover your heads. Go, no!
We're all gonna die!
But Bridge Crew is amazing. Yeah, Bridge Crew is amazing. I mean, it's...
I think it's one of those games, it really depends who you're playing with.
Yeah,
because you kind of make your own adventures, really. And I think when... was it? Oh, I was playing with The Few and Phantom Pain. Unfortunately, Myre was a bit busy at the time, and we picked up this random guy from Yorkshire who was absolutely hilarious, and we just had amazing adventures. And the Phantom, who we were taking turns in the different roles, and Phantom ended up as the captain, accidentally entered us into the original series game, and then went to go get a beer and came back 25 minutes later. So we had to make our own adventure, and we went mine sweeping, just clearing out mines. So yeah,
did you manage to understand? It's basically jelly beans on the original series ship.
But there is a button that has little. If you press it, it puts pointers to what all the things do. So it was It was okay.
Right. Yeah. Bridge Crew is an amazing game. It's about a year old now, but really, it's like everything in Bridge Crew is what I want to see in Star Citizen, but like with all the bells and whistles and red alerts and fidelity that we're supposed to be getting.
I mean, that leads into like, are you hoping that Star Citizen does VR and that the VR is good in it, or are you planning on playing without it, even if it was implemented?
Well, I have a Track IR. I have a VR headset, and they have mentioned that they're looking into it. Maybe like in some R&D branch somewhere in LA, they have some iteration of it. Maybe they'll do it. It depends how far along VR gets. If VR gets cheaper by the time release comes and it's more accessible, there'd be more of an impetus for them to do it. It's a lot of money for something that only a niche amount of people will be using.
VR for long periods of time, not because it makes me nauseous, but because it's so hot.
Right.
So for me, 2 to 3 hours, and I think I'm done. I'd rather play Star Citizen with head tracking, I think. And also like transitioning from piloting to being on foot, I think would be a bit crap for VR. So again, I'd rather stick with head tracking personally.
Yeah, that's what that face. I mean, although they've said, like you said, they've mentioned about going to the VR route and looking into it. It seems to me that with that face rig technology that we've already seen with the webcam and that, I think that to me it looks like that's more down the path they're going to want to go.
Yeah, I mean, like you raise a good point about that, because Face of RIP should be with us at the end of Q3, so when they release 3.3, and they partnered with a third party to do that, right? So if they spent all that money getting Faceware on board and all that kind of stuff, I kind of doubt that they still have.
But at the same time, Oculus have eye and face tracking technology, which I'm fairly certain they're probably going to be building into the new headsets.
Right.
The next
generation. In that case, maybe there might still be. We'll see, I suppose.
And I think you have to, if you look back on the history, if you ever watch the old videos of, like, I think the gentleman that compiled all the old videos from back in the day, they actually had, like, pretty much right at the beginning of when they first formed it, a virtual reality table where one dude was a VR dude who actually worked for CIG. So they it's always been something that they've been considering. I mean, I agree with what Moise says in terms of, the transitional period between things. It might be a case of, it might be fun just to say, hey, guess what? We can make the drones do virtual reality, and you can go down to a gas mine with a drone, and then you can kind of do like tasks, like specific kind of like tasks with virtual reality, like operations or some sort of kind of like cool integration of virtual reality for a task within the game. Just for now, rather than making it everything, or like you can stand on the bridge, like a viewing deck. You can stand on a bridge of a ship and you can kind of view the beauty of the game in like 8K or whatever it is when it goes live.
Yeah,
so that'd be kind of cool.
I have a Track IR in my cupboard actually, and I just realized because I used it for Early Dangerous, and it was amazing then, and then I got into VR, and then I forgot about my my Track IR. But apparently, for Star Citizen now with 3.0. Track IR works, 3.1 now. Track IR works almost perfectly. People have been using Track IR as a fix for
I literally got mine out a couple of days ago. So I'm probably going to set this up for tomorrow's stream.
Yeah.
Just for the viewing cockpits.
Yeah. So if you, I think the workaround was, if you set Track IR to, set your default height in Track IR to you slouching or you low on your seat, and then turn the game on, and then you sit up to your normal height, then you're several inches higher, and so then you're looking through the cockpit at the perfect, I guess, intended angle for the model of the ship.
Yeah.
So like, some guy posted this link on Reddit, and it was basically like the view from a Razor, and it was amazing. Because
it's funny you say that. We've got the link for that on the document.
I'll see if
it's got 6 inches. You got 6 inches of seat height adjustment within the game.
Yeah,
it's quite interesting. Yeah, and the cockpit view is quite amazing. Actually, I didn't realize there was such a variety. I'm guessing that's probably also because of the female models as well, right?
Possibly. I mean, like, we know that they fixed the mobi-glass by using inverse kinematics, right? So like the same way the feet, and when you walk over objects, the feet kind of know where to go. They've used that same algorithm for the hand, so the hand always knows where it has to be. Yeah. So maybe they've done that with your back as well, so your back knows where to be, and then you can then adjust it depending on how high you want to be as well. But as from that image that you linked there on the stream, it looks amazing now. And normally that wedge is like in your face. You can't see anything ahead of you.
I was looking for it though. I don't know where it's gone, but someone posted a video on Facebook of them flying over the planet with the razor. They pretty much went upside down so that they could see the landscape. And as soon as they turned around normal way to fly through the canyon, all of a sudden just a rock just appeared and it was like bang and just blew up. And it's like, that's what's wrong with the ship. It's because you can't see just that little bit where you're flying. So unless you're upside down, it's and there's nothing. It's nothing. Like, in the design, there's nothing there. There's nothing on that dashboard. It's not doing anything other than blocking your view. They seem to... I don't know if they do it on purpose so that they can then change it so everyone goes, oh, thanks for that. It's like, every time.
I mean, I'm staying out of this conversation about cockpits.
It's like the Gladius cockpit all over again.
Right. I mean, like, that wedge looks to me like how wedges, like for dashboards and is it in cars are like, right? Like, and it has like normally like tools and stuff inside. Maybe those tools just haven't been developed yet, but in the future you'll see something back there and it'll be
could be info on it or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But like you said, I think if they could just raise the height a little bit, just because obviously you're too low when you're using it, and it's
exactly
having it block. I mean, like, I suppose, like people said, the thing is they've got to consider now is you're not just flying in space. So in space, it's probably not as much an issue. But when you start going down planet side, then there's rocks that are coming at, especially for a racer as well. You kind of need to see the track ahead, and you've got this thing in your way. So
that being said, I mean, even with the terrible view from the way it's not supposed to be, you still have more view in the Razor than you do in a fighter jet, like from that same point of view, or even a Red Bull stunt 6 degrees of freedom. But you're always rolling and stuff in those planes anyway, so
that's true.
There's that. But then again, where do simulators and games? Where does one begin? When does one end? Because like StarCitizen is meant to be a simulator, but at the same time, it's also meant to be a game. It's meant to be fun. So there's that.
Yeah, I think that comes to a good point I put on the doc actually, is because for me, there's probably the one part where I not pulled back from the game. I don't know what the right word is, but I'm against the game in terms of there's a lot of people that want a lot of realism, whereas I'm more style over substance. I'd rather things look good and work for the rule of cool and function nicely than necessarily be completely accurate and work as the physics should work on it. And I think, Manish, you put something about the freelancer with the engines changing, because there's a little bit of a debate on Reddit with that as well. Yeah,
people were talking about it, but we'll chat. Have we asked Moist how his thing is first before we get into the doc? We have, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
My thing.
How's your thing, Moist?
How's your thing? Yeah, hang on there. That's just how's your thing, Moist? Getting a bit personal, but let's discuss it.
I'm confused as to what's
Is
going
it
on
moist?
here.
Oh God. I'm still in player number 1, whatever it is. I mean, still in virtual reality at the moment. I didn't realise I thought we had missed Moist. I thought we hadn't got to Moist yet.
No, I didn't say what I'd been doing, but everybody else.
It was Miz hadn't. Sorry, I didn't think it was you then. What? Someone hadn't done it. I'm going. Check, please.
I'm out.
Check,
it's all
please.
good. Let's go.
I leave the show right now.
And that's the end of the Asylum podcast. Thanks everybody for watching. Shortest one ever.
Big fail from Madness.
I just thought it was flowing into it, so we'll carry on the flow.
Yes, fine.
But
If you're the host, it's just cool.
It's broke now, so we ruined it. I don't know.
Sorry.
Flow's
we were
gone.
talking about freelancers. You were saying about freelancers and the engines and stuff. That there is a big thing going on. There's not a big thing. It's just it's a thread that came out, and obviously
people do when they're bored.
Like to talk. Yeah, people like to talk, and it was just one person was saying, I bought the advert, with the engines doing, and I'd kind of like them back again, and a lot of people are like, well, they do what they want to do, right? So tough shit.
Well, no, I think the argument was some people are just saying that's what I liked and I would like it back, because now we've got like the Terrapin and things like that now do have the thrusters that remove, and half the reason they said is they couldn't do it, and now they are doing it. And I was one that backed the freelancer when I first saw this advert and things like that, just because I thought it looked like a cool ship. But and I was thinking when I first read that, yeah, bring back that. I like that. But the arguments underneath in Reddit are full of, well, it just doesn't make sense because the engines are huge and getting them to swing down quickly. And so that was like the whole. And then the way I was linking it is because people were saying, "Oh, the science behind it is it's not worth it and it's pointless." Whereas other people go, "But it looks cool. I want it to happen." So
gameplay-wise, the reason why it would suck is because you would require a third mode for no reason apart from just to slow down your descent. So you'd have flying mode, which is what is in when it's landed, and then you'd have descending mode, which you'd then have to change as you're approaching the ground, which would mean that you'd have to approach the ground at a certain speed, otherwise you'd hit them on the ground and they'd blow up.
Yeah, because they can't
automatic. Because you know what, the automatic landing gear at the moment, right now, is driving me insane. I wish they would get rid of automatic landing
complete,
gear.
Launch complete.
Well, it's just like
Landing
when
complete.
you're.
Launch
When you're
complete.
within like 50 foot of the ground and you want
No,
to
it's not even
flybys,
50 foot. Stopping.
It's-
Only if you're over land at any height, Moist. Any height. If you're over land and you stop for any prolonged period of time,
if I'm sat next to Port Olisar and it can see Daymar, my landing gear comes out.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
It's really annoying. It used to be you bring your landing gear out and then you hold down for auto landing. What was wrong with that? I don't need it to force my landing gear out. Like,
it's the worst thing ever because then you can't fly really low anymore.
Why is the ship Why is the ship thinking for me? It's like, oh, you want to land? No, I don't.
I have missed kills because of that motherfucking landing. Because I'm in my gladiator, in my saber, and I'm like literally about to engage somebody there, and they only get away simply because I've waited for a few seconds. My landing gear's gone, and I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake!
If you have used
why bring it
communications to
back?
request a landing, I can understand the automatic landing gear, but not until you've requested a landing.
I mean, I don't see it sticking. I feel like it's either a bug or it's the dev going, I wonder, and then not realizing the implications of actual game are doing it.
Yeah, it could be a bug.
They had it before.
Right.
And then they got rid of it, and then it's like suddenly back again. It's like, do you guys not realize we didn't like it then? Like nothing's changed. No one's gonna like it now. Guess
Maybe
what?
it's a stubborn senior dev or something.
He just slips in every patch until someone says, "For God's sake, take it out." It's like, damn.
How about now? You sure?
I mean, I don't know if any of you have tried, because the last patch I went on to the Cyclone because everyone was having fun with that, and then I saw my Dragonfly. I thought, I'll give that another go because they weren't working very well in the past, and I thought, I'll give it another go because I really like the Dragonfly, and one of the complaints is it doesn't follow the ground well enough. Well, now it fucking follows the ground because it actually sits on the ground. It drives like a car. It just smashes and I don't know whether it's because of this auto landing gear thing. I can't actually change between like hover and anything else. It just keeps saying one of the things. It just keeps pulling me down constantly. So you just literally cannot use the Dragonfly.
Somebody tried to tell me that it handles better, and I was just like, I'm never believing this person ever again.
I tried using a Dragonfly, and the moment the terrain started to slope upwards, I just smashed into the terrain. It was
It doesn't even do that now, though. It just you get on it and it kind of just sinks straight to the ground straight away as soon as you push forward.
That must be ray tracing broken or something.
Do you know what the best bit is? The best bit is when you did that in the Dragonfly, did you immediately go, I know the answer, I'll get in my Nox? Because that's the answer. That'll be fine if I get in my Nox.
I sold my Nox because I think that if the Dragonfly is not doing it, the Nox is not going to get anywhere near that.
So somebody on Reddit actually found a workaround for the Gravlev bikes. At least it's not a workaround to get them to drive Maglev style, but it's a workaround to get them into flight mode on the ground, so you can at least get around. But forget about that because I forget the workaround. But what do you guys think about the Gravlev bikes being able to fly? Was there ever anything that was advertised in the first place? And what do you think about it, at least in atmosphere?
I'm going to go on my soapbox again, and this is where I kind of I understand the person who was on about the freelancer and they bought the freelancer from that advert, blah, blah. When we first saw the Dragonfly, it was in the CitizenCon demo from last year, I think it was, when we saw the Space Worm, whatever. And that thing was handling like a hovering bike, not a bike that flew through the air. And that's what I wanted. and now we've got this thing that is just.
Even then, though, it still didn't do what. I mean, we've mentioned this before, and it still didn't do even in that demo. I mean, like, because I can get in space, you could use it as a spaceship like they did to get across from place to place, but atmosphere, no. Just get it to boom, put it down to the ground, and have it as a hover bike, and just keep it at that. Yeah. That's why you have transport for it, so you don't fly up, like, it doesn't... The whole point is you put it in the back of a vehicle to transport it, take it out to space, not sit there and then rocket up into space
for
on
ground
it.
vehicles, I thought they've spoken before about the importance of ground vehicles because occasionally you will have to land because of weather, etc., and then then you'll have the adventure of trying to explore, and when you find that cliff, you have to find a way to get down that cliff, and then blah 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 blah, navigate the train, all that bullshit. And that's what I want. I want to explore like that. And if you just have a bike that flies, then what's the point? You're not going to explore the terrain.
I thought they said that we weren't going to be able to because you would burn up in atmosphere anyway.
Well, no, you can't. Yeah, you can't transition from atmosphere to the planet, but
you can at the moment because it goes boing. You sit on it and it shoots you up, and the next thing you know, you're in space.
Because people argue, because at the end of the day, it's got a shield around it, like a spaceship. So effectively, the shield takes the atmosphere hit. So I think the answer is very simple. I think most people, almost everybody that I've ever spoken to about the Dragonfly, pretty much all say the same thing. Keep it on the ground. You can use it in space. Keep it so it's got a distance they can hover between on the ground. Keep it nice and, go up and down a little bit, but go over some of these big boulders or whatever, but no more than that. And we'll all be fine. And with the Nox, we'll be able to rip it along with the big smoke trail or the big dust trail that we all wanted. You can absolutely gun it, and it just flies through the
because you haven't got the worry that it's going to take off into atmosphere at one point. You just want it to hug the ground.
Bounce into the ground and grind along and then flip you around, and then you're in orbit. It's just ridiculous. So I just want it to burn or blow up as soon as you hit something.
3.2 is going to be bringing with it some of the new cloud tech that they've been developing and working on. I think it'd be really cool if the Nox speeder cloud is brought in with that.
That would be sick. You see this, like you can see it coming, like just ripping along, like literally ripping. Oh my God.
Maybe it should have its own little lightning as well, so you just got this lightning streaked smoke as it goes past you.
It's like the feet are like hanging off the back of it as it's getting faster and faster. That's the thing. It's just like that's like we talk about fun, right? That was meant to be the fun, and then they failed miserably on it because the mechanics just didn't work and wasn't doing what we want. But then they nailed it with the Cyclone, which was really surprising for me initially.
It hits the ground. That's why. But like you said, I don't know anyone. We've had people on this show and everything else, and I don't know a single person that says that they're happy with the. I think everybody says they want the Dragonfly and the Nox to hug the ground more and use the hover mechanic just as like a suspension, a form of suspension. So if you go over bumps, it kind of goes up and down with the hover. But other than that, I don't know anyone yet.
I think the problem is that in their heads,
fly.
they want you to be able to fly over the huge boulders that we're seeing on Daymar. They've discussed that a few times. Fuck it, navigate the terrain.
Yeah,
please.
even that. Or I mean, one option you could have is like an up thrust. So it just like a temporary, just a quick boost,
and then it
kind of pushes you up and then slowly brings you down.
I could live with that.
Like
has anyone played Destiny and things like other games? Like they have the same kind of. You can kind of navigate up, and it'll boost you up, and then it'll bring.
Weightless. So I would like there to be some weight there,
perfect.
but not.
Yeah, but they feel even more weightless in StarCitizen at the moment.
I was about to say.
I think the issue in StarCitizen that's different from other games is that Gravlev tech is something that they've had to develop fidelity-wise, whereas with other games that have vehicles that don't have wheels, they have invisible wheels with less friction. Whereas in StarCitizen, with a Nox, it literally grinds against the floor because it doesn't have that buffer. So I guess it'll take a while before we get there. But I'm not against the Nox being able to fly, but only if it burns a hell of a lot of fuel.
Yeah.
Only if it just juices the thing and then you're out of luck.
That could be a good compromise. If you had like a flight limit of 15-20 minutes, something like that, I could live with that.
But I still think it needs some form of boost thing to get you to do that, because otherwise, like you said, if you're just like you're flying through, it takes you off into the air whether you want to or not. You kind of need to, almost like not a flight mode as much, but something like that. You press a button, it just kind of engages an upward thrust, takes you off for a little bit, and then, like you said, gently brings you down. I think that would be a good compromise. But then you could tie in the fuel usage to that afterburner thrust then, and it would burn the fuel down.
Because I feel like it'd be really awesome if, let's say there's a canyon with a big gap. I think it'd be really cool to like fly over it with a Nox. A cyclone's gonna kill itself, but a Nox, you press an old space bar, you can keep that air at least, so you can get to the other side. I think that'd be amazing.
You can see the cinematic now, can't you? A cyclone and a Nox race. The cyclone just goes down, and the Nox just goes over the top.
Roadrunner style.
Yeah. Damn you! As it falls down the canyon. I like that idea.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing, and this has always been my slight concern with this one, is at no point has CIG really, I don't think so, have come out and said that they are like, yeah, do you know what, our hover bikes are shit and not working. Because I think they've literally came out, I think they came out
and said the opposite.
They said the complete opposite, yeah. Like, they're working really well. And I was like, have you played your own game? Have you actually tried this? And I was like, maybe they have. The ray tracing works well.
No, I think it was in an ATV. I'm pretty sure it was a ATV that was pre-recorded quite a while ago, and they were talking about an internal build.
Yeah, I was going to say, perhaps when they said that it was about an internal build, and something's probably most likely broken along the way.
And you also have to bear in mind that the ray tracing is tied to FPS, and their internal builds, the FPS for them is going to be much better than what we're getting on the PC.
We have definitely proven. I've proven on when the frames were around 60 that the bikes do work better. There's no question they work better in higher FPS. But like the same thing just comes back to really just the way they're kind of designing the bikes and what they want the bikes to do, which is fundamentally wrong in my opinion.
Do you think some of that is down to like we're playing it probably more than, apart from the QA testers in there, than some of the people that are designing it. So we get to realise and think, hang on, this is more fun if it hogs the ground more, whereas they're thinking, oh, this is cool if it floats and flies off. And it's not until you play it some more and realise it.
I wouldn't necessarily blame the designers, but there is somebody in SIG who wants it his way, is what I'm saying. That's what I suspect. You know, I think Chris Roberts probably has a vision in his head. Chris Roberts, I think he probably has a vision in his head of what he wants from these bikes, and you know, by us saying we wanted to hug the floor.
He approved the advert. He approved the advert. The advert shows the bike zipping along the floor. I mean, they know what's cool. Let's not bullet. They sell us cool. They sold us cool on all their adverts. They know what it should be, and the reality is it's not delivered yet, and we haven't heard anything yet.
I think that's the difficulty. It's just it's almost like a denial, and it's like we want to at least hear, we're taking your feedback, and we'll consider, you know, what if we think it's a better gameplay, we'll try it out or something, rather than just, no, it's fantastic, we love it, it's great, and you're all sitting there going, but it's not. And it's like you said, for a long time, we won't go over it, but the Gladius cockpit, like you moaned about how it looked, and like they were planning on changing it, but just a simple thing, like when there's a big outroll, like they've been doing it a bit now on Spectrum through CIG posts, you know, just a little heads up, you know, this is blah, blah, blah. Like, that's all they need is something like that so that it can be clarified for people. It doesn't need a big ATV reveal around it or spending ages answering every question. But if there's a big post on Spectrum where it keeps getting bumped to the top or whatever, then just saying something like that, well, we're looking into it, or this isn't final, don't panic. That would help.
It's just the usual. It's the usual. We don't, you know, it's the how much information is the right information, what's the wrong information, what's misleading information, what's, you know. I mean, CIG does have there's a very difficult job. There's no question. I would not want the job. Let's put it that way. You know, because there's so many studios, and the left doesn't always know what the right's doing, and then one person says something, we've seen it, and then it gets, you know, it's just it's definitely a difficult position to be in.
I mean, they did even mention on ATV as well, they have to judge the fact that whether one person's asking for this to be changed, or whether there's hundreds of people saying this isn't right and wants to be changed. They don't want to waste time implementing something because one person said it and they're very vocal or very loud about it, and then realise actually the majority of people were quite happy with the way it was. So,
well, actually, I think the context of what they were saying there was slightly different. I think what they were saying there was, you know, when you've got one person saying they want something on Spectrum, but then there's 100 people saying they want a different feature. It's like where
Yeah,
you send your assets to. But to be fair, I think
I get that that's different context, but it's still the same thing.
Yeah.
It's still the same in terms of people's complaints. You need to weigh out what's actually a real complaint and what's just whiny bastards.
Well, I think
I guess
because they got
probably
beat.
have the survey.
yeah. Well, even then, like
Oh,
the survey,
just before we go on, guys, if people want to enter this conversation, by the way, question form, throw the questions in there. We'll pick them up and we'll discuss them as we roll through this whole thing. So you guys can be involved as much as we are. Okay, so feel free, and I'll try and pick out questions as we go along and completely disrupt Moist's flow.
That's absolutely fine. I don't think. Well, I don't know. Maybe we should discuss the survey again. But because I've been on several podcasts now, I've discussed the survey like enough that my head wants to explode. But for me, seeing the changes to the roadmap kind of highlighted that. I'm sure they wanted some of the feedback from the survey, but I hate to say it, guys, salvaging 8 in 3.2, and that's what was the most picked profession. So.
Question for you guys. Captain Bananas asks, bananas?
Yes. Someone playing Sea of Thieves.
I'm more of a pink lady man myself.
I thought he was going to say pink grapefruit.
Okay, anyway.
That was it. That was the question. Was it just bananas?
Yeah, that was the question. Just the question was bananas. But I wanted to talk to you guys about the roadmap. Rather than going into the vote, we talked enough about the vote. Vote
we'll talk about
I think
that.
everyone's sick to that. I wanted to kind of break it down. I think I want to kind of go through the like Myre was saying, he's super excited for 3.2 about getting some gameplay that's going to be on a nice gameplay loop for him to enjoy. And pretty much every single piece of gameplay, bar the mining, is being moved to 3.3. Is that right?
Well, even the mining has a bit,
and that's at 29%.
Yeah. So the mining from the prospector has been removed to 3.3, and now it's just going to be land like mining personally.
Yeah. So my question to you, Myre, because you were saying that's what you were looking forward to, is what part of the roadmap in 3.2 were you thinking you were going to get that gameplay from?
I don't know.
You mean gameplay loops in general?
Yeah, the gameplay loop that you were kind of like, because you're not getting it now, or you were saying you're not getting it now, but you're getting a bit of it, but you're not getting as much as you really gives you the buzz, And I was wondering what you're going to get in 3.2.
I mean, like 3.2 before they changed it, kind of like had refueling, salvaging, and mining, right? Yeah. Not everybody has a reclaimer. Not everybody has a starfare.
And manual repair.
Yeah. All right. So those things are kind of like whatever for me. But mining, so mining basically, and whatever they were going to do in terms of refining the quest system, because that's only early doors as well. As for repairing your ship and stuff, I thought it was really cool. In Friday's ATV, they mentioned that, they broke down ship parts even further, so that not only do you get like a ship part that has a grade and a class, but there are also sub items you slot into those ship parts that change things around. And obviously that's not coming very soon, but that's also another interesting thing that you could think about in terms of min-maxing your ship. It feels like almost gem slots and that kind of thing from like say World of Warcraft or something.
Yeah, which is really great, but it's not 3.2 though, man.
Can I throw my hand up in the air and just say I think we are going to get some sort of repair, and what I mean by that is that we are going to be getting item 2.0, fingers crossed, in 3.2. Right. We're also getting wear and tear. Therefore, hopefully, we should be able to slot our modules in the ship. Those modules will break down through wear and tear, and then we'll be able to replace them.
So wear, tear, and repair.
Exactly. Wear, tear, and repair. Okay.
So I'm looking at the roadmap right now, and one thing that comes to mind there, and I see there, is the groups system. Now, we're all content creators here on Twitch TV. We play the game with our viewers most of the time. This group system is going to kick ass, because that means that they're already having group quests in mind and that kind of thing. It's one thing to be a viewer just like loitering around and basically stalking the streamer for no personal gain. But having a group system, being able to do missions together, earn money together, that's going to influence more viewers to join in, because they know that they're not just there taking up pixels on a screen. So that's something I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, and they got like the quantum linking as well, which will again help with working together and doing missions together as well. But there's also the fact that like stability. If we can get some more stability in the server so that people aren't crashing all the time, because I think that's actually it's not so much the gameplay now as much. I think there's quite a few people that want to play it and they just keep saying with the crashing and everything that it's putting them off even trying again. It's like, well, I'll wait for the next patch. So
I think the servers are actually fairly stable at the moment. I think the issue that a lot of people are having is actually client crashing. The difference between the two is when it's the server crashing, you will normally get a notification within the client. If you crash to Windows and it's a Windows notification or error that you're seeing, that's a client crash. So yeah, if they can fix the client, then I think we'll be pretty golden. But something I actually, sorry, go on, Myre.
I was going to say 2 more things that I'm looking forward to with 3.2 that will help with the gameplay loop, or at least make it work better than it does now. Is, well, first of all, they're going to be polishing the economy. What does that mean? They're going to make it less get drugs from Yetta, go to Grimhex. They're going to like make it more dynamic, so that you have to think about what you're doing, and also they're going to be adding more resources and more things with the new item kiosk shopping system. Now, one thing I was looking for that we don't have in 3.2, but that they moved, was like salvage without ships. Because they took that away. We used to be able to like go into boxes and take salvage and that kind of thing. And I feel like this item kiosks shopping, which is the implementation of shopping kiosks for more products that aren't physical, will come into that. Because then you can like look in a box, say, okay, I got XYZ, and it doesn't have to show up. So that's just something I'm really looking forward to. And obviously, where is it there? Persistence is going to kick ass, because I wanted this from day one of the PU. And basically what it is that if you're on your way to Grimhex and you crash, when you log on, it'll gracefully log you out and you can pop back up where you started. We've missed that, and you losing your ship and all your cargo. This will make economy and playing as an economist or a trader so much more fun. So that's why I'm looking forward to 3.2, even though we don't have as many things as in 3.3.
I think you mentioned the economy improvements. I actually think the economy improvements are more important than I initially thought they were. And the reason I say that is I don't know if Ichiru is lurking, but Ichiru came into my chat and was a little bit grumpy isn't quite the right word, but he was annoyed because there were people camping Jump Town. There were people camping Jump Town because that's the best way to make money at the moment. But that's creating emergent gameplay. There's people essentially being bounty hunters trying to catch drug dealers at Jump Town, and then pirates are coming to turn up to try and take out the bounty hunters. That's the way I'm seeing it in my head. So if we do actually end up with this more polished economy system, I think it's going to be friggin' awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
I saw someone moaning saying that they were getting shot at that, and someone's going, "You're doing drug runs. Like, why are you moaning that someone's trying to kill you for that? That is actually part of what would happen in the game. Is that you're doing a drug run. What do you expect?"
I think the best thing I heard in the story was that a org had taken over the drug station. I think that was one of the funnest things I saw. I heard is actually
it's the new Korea
taking it over, and was
that's what it's kind of become.
We own this shit. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Sync Corp or something. You're like, this is ours. We own this. If you want to come through, you have to pay us, or whatever. We're going to make money for our friends only. And I like that, because then it was like, if like we say, if the game is more improved, then people can stay in the servers longer. They can form up teams and then try and go after them, and then try and take them down and stuff. So it's good.
Yeah.
Those are good stuff.
But that is the stuff that's going to give us things to do and to play. That's what you need. You just need more of it, and then the stability and a way to get around that sort of thing.
We're looking at mining on planetary bodies. There's nothing I look forward to more than just flying around Daymar and looking for prospectors sat on the ground so I can blow the shit out of them. So that means they will need a friend to sit with them to try and protect them.
I do this to everybody. I've changed.
Wish was nice when he first came on the podcast, and he did the same to Toby. I mean, Toby was the nicest person you could ever meet, and then by the time Toby, he wrecked Toby. Toby's got like his hand in a sling because his wrists ache from dogfighting so much. He went through about 4 different joysticks because he smashed them all. Because of Madness training him to fight and kill people.
I have a tally now as well. I love them size 9s, but he's not happy with me that I bought a tally, so he's a bit grumpy about that.
Oh, is he?
dear. We scared him off.
So much so he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's-
can imagine now, like Madness is like
Well, that was scary.
wrong voice. That was bad.
He's got a madness button voice somewhere. He's like, where's it gone?
It was something like
Toby, join the mad side.
yes. Anyway,
It pretty much is how it went. Then it's just one day Toby just flipped and it was like he was killing everybody. It's like, oh, there's someone. Let's practice shooting them. Go on, Toby, off you go. And it's like, oh no, is he just like ordered more joysticks because they kept breaking?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I remember hopping onto his channel, and I've never been able to get like past 25 frames per second on StarCitizen until this patch. And I remember like hopping onto his stream, and I'm like, oh wow, he's able to actually dogfight like in the PU, and he seems to be
Yeah.
having so much fun. He's dominating everybody. So I can't wait to get that experience. But it's the first. I mean, like Moist bringing up people fighting in Jumptown is the first time it clicked to me that like that kind of emergent gameplay can exist, and it's not necessarily like the the best thing, for a lot of people. It's pirate gameplay slash
Yeah,
like
there's a lot of people that
grief
don't want that.
immersion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it makes sense, especially in a place that's for getting drugs. Yes, you can get like a lot of money from it, but there has to be a risk and reward. So go with a convoy, go with an organization, go with friends. But yeah,
And like you said,
Occupy
on
Jumptown
Friday
sounds
night,
cool.
on Friday night, I played with Astro and Company,
Mhm.
or the Astro Pub, and we essentially filled a Starfarer with cyclones, landed it about 2 kilometers from Jumptown, and when we landed the Starfarer, it was dark, so we lined up all the cyclones, and just seeing them all there, sat. Oh my god. With the lights on. Oh no.
Join the dark side, Toby.
So awkward. Oh, he just broke his headphones.
Uh-oh.
Waggling his big red stick.
his lightsaber looks like a blow up one.
Anyway, sorry. My little boys took a walk.
Oh, you little boys, I see.
Is that what you call it?
Kind of mine. It is mine, really. Sorry, we kind of lost the moment. I spent too long trying to find it. I was like,
Yeah, just a little bit.
about 5 minutes late. 5 minutes late with the punchline.
Wow. Okay. I've completely lost the flow of what we was talking about then. Oh, that's it. Yeah. So the emergent gameplay. So yeah, it's very heavily orientated towards pirate, and then and at the moment with no real rules or punishment, it's just very fine line between pirating and griefing, and there's a lot of griefing and people that don't want to like. The missions pay so little and things like that. That's what people are complaining at. It's like we can't make money because doing the normal stuff that you might not want to get pirated for just doesn't pay enough. And so you kind of, and especially when you keep crashing and it resets all your cash and stuff. So trying to buy armor every time there's a reset, or trying to get that look that you go for, you kind of forced them to try and make money the easiest way. So I think that's part of the issue that's coming from that emergent gameplay. Although it's good for some people, it's not good for everyone.
It beats people like camping Tessa and stuff like they used to in the previous patch.
Yeah.
And bacon.
So I mean, like, okay. So I mean, I'm not particularly butthurt over the lack of things. I'm more just disappointed that obviously it's taken 3.2 patch to give us what was meant to be really for 3.0. That's the kind of the bit that I'm kind of a bit like, what a shame. You know what I mean? Like, it's here, okay, it's fine. I would have loved to have had 3.2, all the stuff for 3.2 by 3.0, but hey.
I would have loved to have StarCitizen beta completed like a year ago, but it is what it is.
I'd love to be playing the game now.
I know. That's what I'm just saying. I'm just a bit like, it's a bit of a shame because it means you kind of, it's like, but I think that if they get 3.2, and here's my thing. When I looked at the roadmap, though, and I don't know about you guys, is when I saw the word scheduled for most of the stuff, and then I only saw small bits that actually had percentages of work done, I'm still nervous. There's a lot of this shit still might not even make it because it doesn't look like anything's been worked on. And I don't know if you guys like what's going. Are they just trying to pretend, or is this? Why would you only have like 2 or 3 things which actually have a percentage on, and everything else says new or scheduled? I'm like.
I wouldn't worry too much about it because they seem to they did okay with 3.1. It came out the day they said it would come out. So right now, my personal kind of like optimism for StarCitizen is an all-time high. It's the first time they've done that, like round of applause and all that kind of stuff. So for now, I feel like, yes, sure, some things are changing around because you can't like just give a forecast for an entire year and it's going to be concrete. Things are going to change because that's just the bricks. Personally, I would have to wait until the end of Q2. If it releases with everything that's on that list there, then I think that my opinion would kind of be unswayable. I'd be like, oh, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. For now, I'm confident, but I see where you're coming from with your cautious optimism. You know what I mean?
I mean, the one thing you can say though is that by having the roadmap and this scheduled release dates along the way, we are at least being aware of the situation that they're at, because this time, like last year, we were all sitting there going, oh, all this wonderful stuff's coming in 3.0. Now, already we know that some of this isn't coming in 3.2 because it's been delayed, because it's not ready. I mean, it doesn't sound great. I know it's not a thing that you would necessarily want to celebrate, but there's been a lot of us that get really disappointed because you're waiting for the patch and you think it's coming, and then they release it to Ivocati or something, and it's got nothing in it. And you're like, well, what the fuck happened to this? And what happened to that?
Let me help with that disappointment. Bind culling, I can almost guarantee you, will be pushed to 3.3 and then pushed to 3.4. Just saying now.
It's 40% done, even though it was.
What are they going to be pushing?
It's been 40% done for a very long time.
I honestly, this is what I was chatting to Moist about. Is like that's okay. Being very emotional straight off the bat, it pretty much sounds like you were just lied to directly. My immediate response is if my mate said to me, I was only I was only 5 minutes late. I was so close to being on time, mate, but I was just 5 minutes late. When in fact he's actually
still at home.
Can I
give some context, because a lot of people probably don't understand where we're coming from. So essentially, it was mentioned in an ATV that bind culling didn't make it into 3.1, but it was very, very close to making it into 3.1. And the reason it didn't was because it was in a testing phase and they didn't have enough time to complete the testing. Please continue.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I'm just assuming most people know what they're talking about here, but I probably well done. That's right. Context is good.
Didn't mean to insult you, chat. I'm very sorry.
Just making people aware.
Pretend that bit didn't happen.
But if you didn't know, that was exactly.
Thought you all. If they knew what they were talking about, they wouldn't be watching the podcast.
It's true. This is true. I always think that people know more than me. I think they do most of the time. Anyway, but. This is my thing. My point is but then we see it now it's only 47% done. And I kind of go, I feel a little bit like I was lied to. And then if they're lying to me about that, what else could they be lying about?
Unless it's just 40% through test phase.
Well, I mean, the issue about, and Matt Sherman talked about this before, but the issue with the way the tasks are lined up, and the way that the producers even went to further make things, or what the heck are they talking about? They call them tasks, but internally they call them stories or some crap. But the issue with all that is that even though yes, it's 30 tasks or 40 tasks, not every single task is the same size. Yeah. So we literally have no idea what each task is and why it's taking so long for this one specific task to be completed. For all we know, this task takes 200% more time than any other task or more. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. I mean, with the core tech from 3.1 that got released, I think they released something. They didn't release.
The problem was they said they.
We got variable culling. Sorry, right. It's not variable. It's something like variable culling.
We have serialized variables. And
serialized variables.
Yeah. The thing that they mentioned was that they had serialized variables, and from what they could see, SRV basically did some of what bind calling, when that's in, will then finish off and make everything work. So they released SRV first, and now bind culling is coming out in this patch. Now, I don't know why that's the case. But what's the voice laughing about?
Sorry, Michael in chat says, and he puts this in quotations, at 10:45 a.m. I started working on bind culling. At 10:52 a.m. I went to go get a cup of coffee. But yeah, oh, sorry, what was I thinking then? Yeah, in terms of bind culling, something to bear in mind is it was a testing phase. For all we know, in the testing, they found issues. They've had to roll stuff back on their internal builds to rework it.
That's the whole
so
point
I'm
of
not
testing it. So,
super upset,
I know what you mean, though. It's just, I suppose you're getting that information, but at the same time, it seems like conflicting. Because, like you said, it's almost done with just testing, but now it's 5 of 11 tasks. It's like, well, what happened to those tasks?
And then I'm looking at the rest of the document and I'm seeing scheduled rather than seeing percentages of versus the rest of it saying we're this much through, we're here. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not my fucking rodeo, so you do it as you see fit. But I'm just gonna call it and go, this doesn't make sense. That's all. It doesn't seem to make sense versus what you've shown us before. And it's like, yeah, I mean, we're waiting. We're waiting.
Only 9. Yeah, I feel like we have to wait and see. We're only 9 days into this quarter, so it could just be that they haven't had their big, whatever it is, meeting that they do have before they then go, okay, put that into the roadmap now.
But the roadmap's delayed as well, isn't it? From their internal one
every
to actually
Friday
being updated.
it comes out.
Yeah.
So it has just been updated, but the first 6. Sorry, so they would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and I doubt very much that the producers would have worked out in 5 days how they were going to schedule everything.
But they knew within those 5 days what wasn't going to make it, though, right? Pretty easy.
Yeah.
Don't know. It's a large company, but I don't know. I feel I played.
I mean, they're able to find out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different things weren't going to make it.
That was after our votes. It's like, right, they don't give a shit about any of this. Right, let's move that to 3.3.
This is all my salt. Like, I have no more salt for the show.
No.
Everything else is good stuff. I'm excited about the Anvil Hurricane. I'm excited about I'm not excited about the torpedoes.
You have to bear in mind, right, that when it comes to any sort of development or production, I have never been a developer, but I've worked for a big hosting company and that's had development teams, and I've had the QA stuff, etc. When you are scheduling stuff, it's not just a case of, okay, we're doing this on this date, we're doing this on this date. When you have 460, 70, 80 staff, whatever they have now, trying to work out who goes where and when is really difficult. So no, I don't expect them to work all that in the first 6 days, but I would expect to see some sort of update by this Friday.
I think overall, though, I mean, we'll move on from this anyway, but I think it's just, when we had that vote thing on the website to what you want to focus on, we all kind of thought that's just a front before you then get the next week where they say, well, okay, we've moved all this. It was kind of, that's how we kind of saw it. It was like, this is a little test bed thing so that we can get this out there and say, well, you all voted, and so therefore that's why we're going to put our resources on. You wanted grouping, you wanted that sort of thing, and now that's what's going to be
Item
in
2.0.
Item 2.0, exactly. It's all the things that people voted for. It was like a preemptive poll, basically.
2.0, though, is that item 2.0 can't work without object container streaming, right? So
item 2.0 is already in, but it's more like fine tuning of it, so it works better for things in the
Wasn't it more about the components?
Multi-crew.
Yeah,
components, wear and tear, because that filters into how items then talk to each other.
Nubify was trying to explain this in the captain's table, and I think it just went over my head. But for some reason,
the grand vagueness of much what is.
So he explained it in like 15 seconds flat, so it was a little bit too late.
So item 2.0 is something that they worked on and had to come out for 3.0 to be 3.0, and it's not just in ships, but everything from like doors in Levski to turrets. That's item 2.0.
Sorry, I was being a noob. I was thinking of bind culling. Bind culling can't happen without object container streaming.
I have no idea with that because that goes over my head.
Yeah.
Item 2. As far as I was aware, with item 2.0, okay, this is rudimentary layman's kind of like the way I always looked at it was better coding it was like custom made coding. That would improve the ability to just make all different types of things work. That's like the super basic way I kind of looked at it was, it's also got better scalability for things. They can do more with it. It's not so narrow, narrow coding.
So pre item 2.0, items were just items. A door knows that it's a door and it opens and closes. But item 2.0 means a door and a caterpillar knows that it's a door. It's open, and the other doors that it's linked to are closed. And with before
for subscription as well, right?
No.
No.
In
No.
2.6.3, for instance, in a constellation, you have those two turrets, and each turret knows they're a turret, but they have no idea about the state of the other turrets. So you can look at the top turret, go into it, it comes down, you go in and it goes up. And then if you had two people and they really wanted to scramble to both turrets, then they'd go in and then they would kind of like clip through each other because they don't know of each other's existence. So ITID 2.0 now knows that, wait, I'm going first, then it goes up, and then the other one can come up. And that same system can then go into your ship as a whole, and basically like all your different systems and subcomponents know about each other so they can communicate better with each other. So if, let's say, you lose an entire annihilation, then your power system knows that, okay, I don't need to put more power into that side because it's gone. So then you can then allocate your power and your resources elsewhere. And so what they mean by working on Atom 2.0 is to further work on that so that, when you're doing multi-crew things, then if somebody's on one seat and they change something, then you and your seat will then see that change, because currently that doesn't happen. So I believe that's what they mean by polishing and working on Atom 2.0.
So our ships are literally becoming sentient. That's what you're trying to explain to us.
Get this fat ass off of my seat.
But not to the degree of Battlestar Galactica, if you know what I mean. I mean, not to the degree that Battlestar Galactica was trying to do against, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because I believe in the lore there is something about tech being rampant or whatever, and if
Yeah,
that
they
gets
said they
too,
didn't.
too savvy, then they'll do the whole Cylon thing. So that's why in Item 2.0, like maybe two seats might know about each other, but the seats don't know what the life support's talking about because, that kind of thing.
They don't need to know. The seats go, well, I want some life support. Divert life support to seats. Why can't I have some of this oxygen?
It starts getting ambitions. The seat starts to get these ideas of ambition. Like, I don't want to be the seat anymore.
I can shoot these turrets. I don't need someone sitting in me. Fuck off.
I've always got the ass end of the job. I just don't want this job anymore. Let's just move on. But thank you for explaining it, because I think everyone, it's good to. Everyone has an idea, and then sometimes those ideas get formulated and become solid, and then you're like, they're wrong. So thank you for explaining. That was really cool. Somebody's asked a question from Rumged. I think his name is Rumged or Rumgod. I don't know how he wants to say it. And he says, this is for everyone. He says, when will racing get competitive again? Now, that's a cool question. It's actually interesting because we're talking about the Razor, and there is a picture. I'm trying to figure out if there is one. There was on the document. Someone's dropped it in about racing. Someone's took a picture of Levski or Lagsky, or whatever you want to call it. Someone's drawn a track around it. Someone's drawn a track around it. And
Is that on the document, did you say?
Yeah, Planetside Racing Razor. It's at 34, I believe.
34. Okay, thank you.
Let me just check. Let me check if it's got a picture. Yeah, there you go. There's a picture. And it's Planetside Racing. It says, imagine lining up in your X1 Nox and Dragonfly in a racing circuit with a sinkhole of Levski. And so basically, people kind of, we've got the idea with the Daymar Rally coming up as something that people want to do. And it's something that people want to do. And it's a really interesting question that you ask about, when will it be competitive? Well, there's only, what ships have we got? We've got the M50, the Razor, the 350R. Is that right? Is that meant to be a racer as well?
That's a racing ship as well.
That's a racing ship as well. And then you've got the Mustang racer as well. Which one's that one? Is that the Gamma or the
Mustang Gamma and the Mustang Omega are both racers.
And the Mustang. That's right. And there was the Omega was the special one with the AMD, right? The one that you have, Myre, which is beautiful. You must be quite looking forward to the reworked Mustang.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to so much with 3.2, but I'm looking forward to most of all the new redesigns by Andy Broussard for the Mustangs. Those look so cool. It almost looks like when they get released, the Mustang's going to be even more expensive, because currently the Mustang is CCU $5 more expensive than the Aurora. Yeah.
I don't think they will, because they didn't touch the Cutlass. The Cutlass hasn't changed, so I think
they kept warning that they were going to.
Cutlass,
I still don't know if they're going to in the future, but for some reason they've held off on it, and I don't know why.
It should be, though, because they gave away those collector cards, and the collector card link basically says if you have this link, then it'll always be that price. So that means that if you want it, then
And what I remember is it Gamescom, he kept warning people saying that this is your last chance to buy these ships at this price before 3.0 hits. They actually were saying that this is your last price. These ships, when 3.0 hits, are all going up in price. This is your last. So they kind of on dodgy ground with that as it was.
Disco told me to say that. I didn't know any better.
So there was someone in a cap and everything kept saying buy it now because it's going to go up in price. I can't remember what it was.
He wasn't alone. Myre wasn't alone. I think
I was actually on about Disco because he's the one that said it mostly. But yeah, I mean you were told what we believed. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Just to go back to this racetrack around Levski, by the way.
Yeah.
You know what I would absolutely love? For those who have played World of Warcraft, on a Sunday, Sunday is fishing day. There's a fishing competition every Sunday in World of Warcraft. And I would love to see, because it kind of helps make the world feel alive. I would love to see, like on a Sunday, just see this racetrack appear at Levski, where there's actual signage and whatnot, so to make sure you stay on track and go the right way, and some spectators on the side.
Like Formula Ones every Sunday.
Actually give us a competition.
That'd be cool because we know that's in.
Because prior to 3.0, there was a race course that existed on Daymar, but it was taken out for some reason. So, because if you remember, we saw the scoreboards for it.
Well, on ATV, they were mentioning checkpoint racing. And they were showing off that they were going to have like these checkpoints that you can, so that implement an actual game system for the P. I think it was for the P with checkpoints on it. So I mean, if that can come in, which that would be awesome. So you can just put little checkpoints around, and you have to do the track. Then that would be really
like
cool.
The idea of having a time-based thing, like a certain thing on a certain day, because it encourages people to gather at a certain date and time, rather than just having it there constantly, so you might have one person there at a time.
Yeah.
The problem is with the difficulty. The difficulty with that at the moment though is without anyone managing it, just having a race course like that happens every Sunday. You could put like NPCs together, but you get people that are trolled it. People, how do you join the race and things like that?
It doesn't necessarily have to be one race course. Like for example, you could have multiple race courses across the universe, whatever, but this would be the championship or whatever. And in terms of people,
but how do you get that to actually work?
It's as simple as, oh, guess what, guys? It's a no-fly zone now with AA, for example. You know, they already have.
They take their racing very seriously.
Exactly. So,
but what I'm saying is, I get what you're saying, but how do you implement that? Because you've got to have, like, how do you enter the race? How do you then fly your ship around that race? And then how do you stop other people from getting there?
I'm just saying it would be cool. It's stuff they're going to implement. I mean, it would be cool.
I could hazard a guess as to how they could make it work. I mean they could make it work how
in the final game, yes,
like,
definitely.
Yeah, but in the alpha at least, I could hazard that like in World of Warcraft in the Shimmering Flats, there's a racetrack. And it's just basically on a timer. 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, and it could basically it could literally just refresh after every while. So every half an hour, the race is going to start. The time is going to go down regardless of anybody's there. I think that'd be the easiest and cheapest way.
Do you know how they stop other people flying on or getting in the way on that track?
Well,
is it like it got a boundary?
I think it's instance though, isn't it, on World of Warcraft?
So in World of Warcraft with that race, it's literally just a thing with NPCs doing it, and players can like follow the NPCs or whatever. But in StarCitizen, yes, you're going to be at the mercy of other people's kind of like
But
nature.
Guess what? It's Star Wars pod racing, people.
No, I mean, eventually I think
I imagine it would be like.
They definitely should have it, but what I mean is I doubt we'll see it in the PU because it means work for someone to actually develop that work.
I think we will see it in the PU because what happens, right, so you crack jokes about having anti-aircraft at a race, right? I hate to say it. Do you guys remember the London Olympics? They had fucking AA missiles on the top of blocks of flats. Okay, I remember that. So yeah, it's something that can happen. And two, guess what? If you take a sniper and you start shooting at cyclones that are in this race, there's going to be police in the universe. So you end up with police coming after you.
So police NPCs are something that I think is slated for 3.3, at least like that's what's in the roadmap. Now, I don't know if it's going to be NPCs patrolling and being free enough to leave Levski and chase people down, but there'll be armed personnel in locations.
So I like where this has gone. This is a kind of a nice little bit of theory crafting. But back to the original question, which
Right.
was about competitive racing. And the reality is there are 3 types of racing at the moment that I know of. We've got hover racing, we've got spaceship racing, and we've got land-based racing. It's like wheels on the ground, basically. So at the moment, we've already discussed the ships, the flying ships. In terms of the hover vehicles, we've got the Dragonfly and the Nox. We already discussed how poor that they work, so that needs a lot of work, in my opinion. And then we have the land-based vehicle. We have a Rover, we have the Cyclone, and what else do we have? Is there anything else, or is that the only one? Oh, the Grey Cat, but we don't count the Grey Cat because that's just for scooting around in. So that's the only,
Ursa Rover.
the Ursa Rovers. They're not.
It's like
so the
bus
Cyclone
racing.
Does the Cyclone? Does the Cyclone have? Is it got a racing version of it?
Yes.
It does, doesn't it?
It will have
Cyclone,
coming, yeah.
RC.
What is it?
Or
RC.
something.
Yeah, RC. I was gonna say it sounds like
I
road.
think, for me, answering the question in terms of being competitive, I think it'll be as competitive as the people probably doing the racing. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way I will kind of look at it. The truth is that I don't think they'll have enough vehicles for a while to make it.
Well, I
Like,
think the issue for me with racing at the moment is obviously we have the racing mode in Arena Commander, but I generally think that track is shit and it does not make me want to get into racing. So I would rather see something on a moon personally than some floating city.
I agree.
And even
with
then,
you.
even in
So-
floating city, I wouldn't have a problem with the floating city, but the track just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So
in in the special Friday, like Chris Roberts questioning thing, somebody asked about racing. That was one of the big questions, and he said that 3.3, from his mouth, 3.3 was when they were looking at adding something racing related. No idea what that means. All I know is that the racetracks have been the same.
the Cyclone
for-
racer
Yeah.
version. That's what it is. That's what the variant comes in 3.3.
Oh,
is
man.
the Cyclone
But
racer.
all I know is that the racetracks have been the same for several flight models now. They were designed for ships that could turn on a dime, and it was super fun then. The racetracks are not fun for the current ships. Yes, you can be like Shive or any of the top racers and learn to fly, and like just about see past the red and black out. But it's not a fun racetrack for the average gamer. And I feel like they need to put the ships as they have them now. They need to sit as a QA and a dev down together and design racetracks for these racing ships as they are now, with inertia and everything put in. Because right now it's not on, because it's not fun. And
Especially when they've added things like the Razor, which is supposed to be a more fast straight line
Yeah.
thing. Is all these quick loads of turns and things is not really playing
Yeah.
up for that one at all.
and the top races are bleeding off because they're like, well, CIG aren't bothering with this. Why should we? Shive hasn't raced for like 2 patches now, because like 2 big patches, because they haven't changed anything. They
Yeah.
changed the flight model, and the flight model just becomes more and more realistic, and thus more and more trash for the current courses that we have. So it's like, why bother? It's too much. It's too little at the moment, and hopefully 3.3 might bring something about, because
It
I
might
spoke
be
to
that
one of
they're
the devs.
not bothering with the Arena Commander stuff and working on racing
Right.
for the PU,
Exactly.
which is
Because I spoke to one of the devs in 2015 at CitizenCon Manchester, and he was like, I made those tracks in 1 day. I'm like, oh, cool. Can you make one day now?
Yeah, yeah. Please make some more in 1 day. But so
Yeah.
easy.
But
Yeah,
that's
okay.
that.
Anyone else want to say anything on the racing thing before we go? We move on
I
to
think
the next question.
the other thing as well, like, it was about being rewards wise, and I think it's not rewards, sorry, when it's going to be competitive, and I think when you can maybe get rewards for doing it, like with the whole beacon system or something, like, if you can actually win prize, win cash, that might entice people to actually do that as a kind of career
you know
thing
what?
instead of
They
cargo
could-
trading.
They could. So in Grand Theft Auto Vice City, I remember that there was this little location that had a motocross track, and you could place bets and stuff on there and race around. And I friggin' loved that. I spent so many hours playing with that. Give us a little outpost that has a slightly bigger, like, motocross track for cyclones and stuff. Shove a terminal inside one of the buildings and allow us to put place some money on ourselves, set a time. And at the end of the week, if we're top of the leaderboard, then we get a nice payout from it. If somebody else is top of the leaderboard, they get a nice payout from it.
If you remember, I
something
think
cool
they
like
talked about leaderboards ages ago, wasn't there? Wasn't there even an image of a
in
leaderboard?
an ATV.
It was like a sneak peek, and there was a leaderboard, and that was I can't even
physical
remember
one,
how
right?
long
It
ago.
looked awesome as well.
Yeah.
But that was very, very clearly a mock-up that was done in
It was.
Photoshop.
No, but I mean, people saw that and it was like, oh, we're going to be getting this soon. And it's like I
again,
said,
I
it's
think this
another
is a
one of
big-
those things where it's like we thought we were going to get something and then it just vanished.
It was in 3.0 prior to 3.0 going live. If you remember,
What,
in
the
the
actual
patch
leaderboard?
notes, in the patch notes before the 3.0 PTU came out, they mentioned in the patch notes that the race course had been removed.
No comment.
There we go.
I wonder if it was because it was for the Nox and for the Dragonfly, and then they realised when they were
Maybe.
flying it, they were like, "Holy fuck, we can't even get through one or two of the targets without going off track." That wouldn't surprise me. I tell you what,
Was that
I
Myre?
really like
You want to discuss something there, Myre? I can see.
Oh man. I can't, sadly.
Well, sign language. I was gonna say, like, my final thing on this as well myself was Grand Theft Auto does a very good job of making racing quite fun within its world of games. I always remember watching Sergeant Gamble lots of times, and he's playing Grand Theft Auto, and he's always doing the racing part of it. He enjoys the racing part. It's kind of wacky, kind of crazy races, and I kind of feel like they've kind of got the fun element into the racing in the right balance here. It's competitive, but it's fun still. Even if you're not winning, you're still having a good time and enjoying it. I think that will be if they can crack that, like, it's beautiful, it's fun. Even if you win or you lose, it's still fun for most people. I think that it's still got the leaderboards, the competition, and the prizes, like Miz says. I agree. And then you can still have fun as somebody that's not winning, but just like enjoying the view and trying your best to get better and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, in one vein, it's pretty easy for them to do because most of those GTA racetracks are fan made. You know, the same way Trackmania's like best tracks are fan made. But I think the hard part is implementing like game stuff to make it fun, like catch up and stuff, which you can't really do in a game like StarCitizen because it's meant to be a simulator.
You mentioned that, and bells have just started dingling in my head. Dingling? That's a new word.
Dingle bells.
The dingling bells.
I'm glad you said bells. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm thinking.
I'm sure in the past in an ATV they have mentioned props or something or some sort of tool that would allow us to create our own tracks. But I think it was like in passing.
So they said, "Oh, wouldn't it be nice if you know, like it'd be nice if fans could do that." And they said that a couple times. But personally, I'm like, yeah, it would be nice if fans could do that, but make my Myre Cup, please. It's in the lore, and I want to see what game developers can do when it comes to making a racetrack. I couldn't care less about what fans can do. I mean, like, yeah, fans in the end of the day, they'll make some amazing things. They always do, mods, etc. But I want to see what the devs can do. I don't want to like that the devs sit on their laurels. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to see. You know.
And with those different game modes that you was talking about, like with GTA, I think you could get that in Arena Commander. They could implement that sort of thing in Arena Commander, but like the same way as they have now with the drops, you know, the ammo drops and things like that. But you definitely couldn't get it in the PU.
I mean, I like mods. Mods are cool, you know, like game mods, that kind of thing for Skyrim or whatever. But it infuriates me when like game devs rely on the community to fix their bugs. For
everything, yeah. I think I've seen like Ark and stuff like that where it's like they haven't implemented half the stuff because other people have done it for them, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you want that style, go and download that mod. Yeah, I agree with you. You want your devs to make the game first, and then people can add stuff.
So this literally is my like we're talking about. This is all theory crafting, but I would love them to do like like a death race type of style, like a Carmageddon-esque slash.
They've mentioned, wasn't
kind of
wasn't that what they talked about in this week's ATV?
It was in that same. It was in that same reverse to verse, I think, with Chris. He was when he was talking about racing that he wanted to that as well.
Years later, but it would be like perfect. And then you're saying about like putting like in the PU, not putting like power ups and stuff. Like if you had NPCs, it'd be super cool. Like have the NPCs like running on and then like trying to launch the boosts in the race.
Or like holding water out to you.
Yeah.
Drink the
so in Arena Commander, you can have things like racing catch up and pickups and stuff, and no one will bat an eyelid. So I think that's where, I mean, we can get that in there. People can have that kind of fun. But the whole you die, you crash, you've lost your character kind of racing will also be really interesting in the PU as well.
I would love
when
to see
when that
a
has
triathlon.
actual consequences. That's
big man
yeah,
on death races.
Oh yeah.
that
Give
would
us a
really.
triathlon.
You can
Give
make
us give us a triathlon where we start off on in ships, and then we end up in like a cyclone, and then we end up having to run a gauntlet on foot with a gun.
It's one thing racing for pink slips. It's another thing entirely racing for red ones.
Life is on the line.
Next question is a question from Ludicrous Maximus. He asks, did CIG ever answer the question, can I leave my ships in a will in case of in real life permadeath?
In real life permadeath.
I don't think they have discussed it.
As opposed to the in real life non-permadeath.
So the mechanic in game for that's kind of been tossed around in CIG is that you go to a lawyer and you assign a next of kin who takes all your stuff. Now, whether or not you can trigger that out of game is a whole different thing. Maybe you talk to the devs. You know, you send a concierge ticket, or
I would say you just give them your password and your account details, and then you're golden. Really, put that in your will, so when they log, then they can log directly into it, access and change the name to whatever they want.
I mean, if you literally went and had your will done and said I leave my account to my son, I'm sure they could send a copy of that to CIG and say, look, it's in the will, and then they would probably honour it. But like you said, really just give them
at
your
the same time, do the
password.
contents of the account actually belong to you, or do they belong to CIG?
Right.
Because I know it sounds really stupid, but for digital items, normally the digital items remain the property of the developer.
That's very true, Moist. That's very true. And then when you
But
die,
you'd be an
that's
arsehole of a developer that wouldn't pass on someone's account to their son when they died.
To me, it depends, Miz. It depends. I mean, like, yeah, if it's like real life family who
that's what
play
I
the
mean.
game,
Yeah.
then sure. But if it's like, oh, I heard my guildie croaked. Hey, CIG, can I have his stuff? It's a different thing.
No, I didn't mean that. I mean, like, literally, if it was in a will, if you literally put a will saying, my son, I'm leaving this to my son, I don't see why they wouldn't honour that. It seemed a bit weird.
Yeah, they would be like, it wouldn't look good press, that's for sure, if somebody starts saying, hey, guess what, my father died.
But yeah, you can't just ring up and say, I've heard this bloke's died, can I have his ship?
He left me his 30 grand spaceship account with like.
That's a whole new ambulance chaser scenario there. Do you play StarCitizen? Okay, I'm just following you around for a bit.
Let me tell you something. On the 21st of April, it's Britizen Con, and I'm going to be eyeing up those who look like they're going to be dying soon.
And you're gonna have a little will for them to sign.
I'm sorry. I regret this joke. I regret this joke. I'm sorry. Let's move on.
I was like, moist. Have you seen most of the people that play computer games? Most of them look like they're carrying some sort of terminal disease of some kind.
Wow.
Honestly. It's
Okay,
true.
there goes.
Spend a lot of time.
There goes half
not
of the
doing
people watching
anything.
the podcast.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's
so if
true.
you
I
get
understand.
attention at Britizen Con from Moist Noodle, I would maybe have a word with the Grim Reaper, because he obviously thinks that you're at the end.
So
Let me buy you a drink. You'd be like, no, it's okay.
I've heard of gold diggers, but this is UEC diggers. Like what is it? What do you call this?
UEC, thank you.
Annie, we'll come to your question a little bit later when we touch on ATV, okay? So hang around for that. We'll come to your question when we do ATV.
Okay.
Good stuff. I'm trying to think.
Was there anything in
the
top part of the document that you wanted to go over more?
there was just some random stuff like to do with like just details. Nothing really to talk about there. Freelancer, improved navigation system version 2. This is a game idea. This is pretty cool. But I'll post it in the link and see what people say. If you just copy the link into chat, and then if people have seen it, this is pretty cool. And also the fleet viewer for the upcoming ships. So we know what's coming up: the Anvil Hurricane, the Eclipse, the 600i. It's kind of crazy. I kind of shout all over the 600i, but actually, if you actually think about it in terms of ships that make sense for the amount of gameplay we have, the 600i is actually quite a good ship for it, because it's just to cruise around, enjoy the view, take some
wait to shoot them.
pictures. Kind of like just be, rich. It's a big ship as well. When you see it actually next to other ships, I didn't realize actually how big it is. It is a big ship. So yeah, I was kind of like, ooh, I look forward to someone inviting me on board so I can enjoy it and walk around.
Big up to that fleet viewer as well. That fleet viewer
we have a
app
link
is
to it somewhere.
pretty cool.
Really nicely
Fleet
done.
viewer.
I've got a link
Yeah,
to it here, which I'll put in the chat.
Nice one.
Those of you that haven't seen it, go and check out the Fleet View. It's awesome. You can just go and tick the stuff you want, and
the Hurricane for me though, because like this all comes back to turrets. Okay, manned turrets on vehicles, they are going to improve them. They desperately need to get these turrets working very well. They really do, because
They do.
if you've got a ship like the Hurricane coming out, which is a heavy dogfighting ship that relies so heavily on that massive turret, size. I think it's
How about the
4
hammerhead?
size. Yeah, well, the hammerhead as well, of course, but that's a bit late. Is that the same patch? That was like the
It's
next patch?
slower.
But that one, I'm
They're
like,
gonna need turrets
but I
because
think
they've been working
but
on the
it's
turrets for a
all
long
turrets.
time now.
I don't know if they have been though. I think it's one of those things that they probably put on the shelf to do other things, and then they come back to it.
I
think
hope they
Depends on
haven't
what
though,
team
because
works on it.
I do get what you're saying, and I think actually the turret is a huge part of the multi-crew that's readily available for
Experience.
people that would
Yeah.
get people in. Because I remember when it first came in, and everybody wanted to jump on the same ship. I remember streaming with Cage Geek, and we were jumping on the same ship, jumping in the turrets, trying to use them, and failing badly. And I think if they were working better, that would change some of this patch massively, because you could actually have a couple of multi-crew battles and things. It would.
Yeah, I would love for a patch where the turrets are OP for once, instead of just being absolute trash.
Yeah, make them
Because
so that
even if they were OP and the handling was still kind of off, then being OP means that it's worth having people
counteracts it. Yeah, just to give it, just for us to actually have a go and have some fun with. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
they've
No, I
failed
agree.
they just you haven't been able to prove they can get the turrets to work, which is
Which
I
is
don't- which is
disappointing.
just so disappointing. But that would be cool. The ships are cool. In terms of the thing, what else was there?
Did we mention
Oh.
Britterson Con?
Actually, here's the thing. Okay, so this is the thing, right? This gentleman was been going around a few people's streams, and he came in and he talked about a solution for RAM, because basically I came into the guy's stream and I had just played the game 3.1 and it crashed, and I had came up with a warning saying not enough memory on my computer. I got 16 gig RAM, and it said it needed another X number to run the game. It was being safe, basically, not letting my computer mount itself.
Do you use
And
exploit?
I was like, holy shit. No, I have a dual stream. I wasn't streaming. I was just playing for fun as well
Oh, okay.
on my other PC, and it just ran out of RAM basically. And then I was like,
Yeah.
oh fuck, this is not good. And then I heard other people saying the same thing, that it was very heavy on RAM usage. Anyway, cut long story short, this guy basically linked me to a YouTube channel, which then linked me to IOBit, www.iobit.com. If you download their freeware, you can also they do shareware as well. If you download their freeware, they
Sorry,
have like
I'm
RAM.
gonna-
They have a
Myre,
RAM.
you laugh, Myre, but I actually use IOBit uninstaller
Oh,
every
no,
single day. I
no.
love uninstaller.
When he said IOBit, and he said if you download, I thought he was going to say if you download more RAM. I was gonna,
No.
Download more RAM. It's perfect.
No. If you download the program, it has a smart RAM thing. I think I've got it on my computer at the moment.
I think it came in with a humble bundle at one point, the pro account for that IOBit, because I've got it on my PC now.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And it uses
I
it for
can close
clearing
the memory
RAM and
thing,
stuff,
but yeah.
It has. I'm no joke. Literally, I was at Lagski because I was testing it out, and I was running it at 8 gig, and it never went above. It was 7.2. I took a photo of it. It didn't go above 8 gig.
what is it? What does it do?
It basically just clean it from what I basically understand is it just
He doesn't
stops.
know.
Okay, I don't know. I just know that it stops the memory leak and cleans up whatever crap's going on with StarCitizen on your computer. It just
Okay.
cleans it up, and it stops you from just burning out of memory, basically. And so and one of the guys who was on, he was saying that he was getting 4. I mean, I was like, okay, fair enough. He was going to get 4, but I was getting 8, and the guy in the video was saying the same thing. He was running StarCitizen on 8 gig. So if anybody's having that problem,
It's like I don't know. If you
basically-
imagine like a CCU clean, there's like CCU clean
It's
things that
legit.
it basically
I would
monitors.
imagine
It
it's
monitors
monitoring files that
usage,
you-
and then if it realizes it's wasteful or it's not being used, then it rubs it off or stops it from
It's called-
using it.
It monitors memory usage and recycles unused memory blocks to
That's
increase
cool.
available physical memory. That's what this is from the official Smart RAM. And so basically, memory is fully optimized, and you can change it to a deep and to a quick settings. and I've just got it set up, and it runs all the time. And like, I was very doubtful, but I thought, you know what? Because I don't want to spend 200 quid on another 16 RAM right now. I thought I'll just give it a go. What they're going to lose, apart from maybe if it's got a virus. But so I went to StarCitizen with Moist, and there's a guy there called Chris, and he's a computer security dude, done it for like 20, 30 years. And I told him about it, and he asked me, he was like dubious immediately, like, this is a bit dodge. And then he was like, which one is it? And I told him the brand, and he was like, no, that's legit. That's legit. And I was like, sorted. So yeah, so if anyone's having the problem, you've got 16 gig RAM, you don't want to get 32. I will. Miz can link it in the YouTube. We have the YouTube link and the direct link to the official webpage as well, www.iobit.com. And I would say download it, try it out for yourself. They do a free trial if you want to do the full gizmos, or I think you might be able to just get freeware for the smart RAM.
Click at your own risk.
It's worth trying it. Definitely worth trying it. You'll be thankful. Trust me, I tried it and it worked.
I'll try it. So to piggyback on that, so Moist knows this. I was playing on Moist and I kept crashing out, and my thing kept saying, like yours, like too much RAM being used.
Yeah.
Then I noticed that when you run the game on default on the PTU, which is for some reason high graphics run up to about 14 gigabytes of RAM. If you drop it down to low, then the maximum it uses is 9.5 at the most. So that can also help you out. But I'll definitely check out.
That might be where the guy's running at 4, because he might have changed brought his settings down.
And then used it. Yeah.
And then he's then halving it yet again. So that would explain maybe why he's saying, hey, I'm getting running StarCitizen at 4 gig because I'm already running the graphics down. Yeah, that would make sense. Okay.
Yeah, I'll definitely try it as well and see what happens. If I blue screen and lose my PC, I'll have your number.
You could come. You won't. You won't.
I've got IOBit from a Humble Bundle, I think, and I don't think I have a single email from them. So
no, I was about to say
I'm
I've
not
never
being
had a
email
single
bombed
email
at all.
from
So
IOBit.
maybe you didn't download the right one, because there could be fake ones, I suppose. But
or you didn't
I've not had a single
unsubscribe
email
from the
from them at all.
emails.
Yeah. So I'm just saying it's worth a shot if you're having problems. If you're not gig RAM,
we're not getting paid by them yet, anyway.
Yeah, I just realised it sounds like we're really trying to sell.
We're all using it, the full suite.
Where do you think our sponsors IOBit?
No, legitimately, like I honestly, I was like super dubious about it. Like when the guy came on, he was like, I was absolutely dubious, but I was so like, I was like, well, what have I got to lose if I've got other than just spending another 200 quid on more RAM? And like I said, I got a picture I could prove of for my desktop. It runs it at 7.9 at Lagski. So I was like, sick. I'll stream it as well. If people don't believe me, I'll stream it and I'll show it live on stream as well, running. Not a problem this week.
As you see it eat away at his computer, like the virus just goes. Look, everybody, you see me being hacked live. It's great.
Classic streamer, like go live and then everything just dies. No, that would probably happen. It works really well, guys. Blue screen, you have a virus. No, honestly, they're legit. If the security guy that I met, Chris, if Chris says it's legit, then it's legit. Cool. And then I think
Chris, and he has to be legit.
Chris, legitimately Chris.
The man, Chris.
Fleet View, new roadmap, show things. That's it, dude. I think we're.
Cool.
There was one thing, but we can talk about it later when we go after ATV. Let's do ATV. There's some good shit in that.
Yep. So first of all, ATV, which was nice. It was mostly based around the UK. It was UK and Mobiglass were the two kind of things they were going on about. And they did a nice shout out to BritainCon, which I thought was pretty cool. Anybody that's not there, haven't bought their tickets yet, I'll do my usual plug. Go to BritainCon.co.uk. I think that's the website. I hope it is. And go and buy your tickets. It's next Friday now. Shit, it's coming too quick. I still have work to do for that. So next Friday. Come along to BritainCon. You can come and see me, Moist Noodle, and I think Myre, you're also going again, aren't you?
Will be, yeah.
Excellent.
And John Rain is doing a really kick-ass raffle. He's helping to sponsor BritainCon. He's doing a raffle for what looks like one of those like boxes you can pick up in the verse right now, but it's BritainCon branded with coloring and stuff. And it's basically a PC case, and it has like a fan and like its own like mechanism on the top. And I think it's 3 days from now.
Not next Friday, next Saturday. Actually.
No,
Saturday,
no.
21st.
This is,
sorry.
His
Oh man, I'm so jealous. That's a physical object that you get for winning a prize you can take home with you.
I know, right? But I mean, like, you can't conflate the madness, Mister Annual Con Gladius dogfighting champion, reigning.
They're still not for much longer, but yes. The first.
I'm so happy that we have the new fighting mechanics in. I mean, at least, it's gonna make it so much better to play.
Yes. I'm kind of gutted. I'm not able to go now because it's like it's actually working good enough to actually be able to at least represent rather than just a mess.
But the reason why I bring him up is because we all know him because he's made like all the props for CIG and stuff. If I could do like a tiny plug for him because he's not here.
No, he's awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm always plugging his stuff. It's great.
Yeah, he's got a website.
Well.
Yeah, his website's launching in 3 days, and he's got a license from Ortwin to make reproductions of anything in the game, be it cockpit, anything. So because they're so happy with the way he represented them in the past with the intel and stuff. So right now it's restricted to just those boxes you can pick up and stuff. And from what I've seen, like you will get like versions of that. So like PC case, mini fridge, that kind of thing, but also desks as well. So things like the desks that you saw at Gamescom, and he can brand that for your orgs and all that kind of stuff as well. So
it's interesting, Myre, about him. Like, he's been allowed to. He's an external to do stuff. I mean, I know he works closely with them, but like, we talked about this many times. I'm sure you probably have as well. Is about CIG. Like now, I think they've hired. Very closed from the community. But this is quite good. This is like a good little opportunity to show. Hey, guess what? There are people out there who are super talented who can make stuff for you, and not like trash and damage your brand. They're actually going to
because we've said quite a few times, like with little models and things like that we would love to buy. Like if someone that's been is it Rice Maiden done like the wood plastic ones, like when they're making them at that good quality, like if they would eventually let someone like that come on board and make official merchandise for them, that would be so good.
Right. From what I hear, he is like the only third party who has a license. But I think it's because
that's because he actually did stuff for them, though. They employed him.
His guys made that saber in a month for Intel. He
should work for CIG.
Yeah. I PM'd you the link, Miz, for his website.
Okay, I'll put
it's
it in
a
chat.
bit iffy though because like if you put an S after it, like you think it would be, it takes you to a different blog's website.
Don't go to the different blogs. Go to that one. Cool. Yeah, so I think isn't he revealing? He's been on Facebook posting like little snippets of the work he's on, and so I don't know if he's revealing on Friday when the website goes live different things other than just that box, because he was having people guess what it was, and one of it was like a Drake thing, and it said it had like drawers in it and stuff, so it might even be a desk or something. So
it might be a desk. Yeah.
Well worth checking it out and keeping an eye on it. Yeah.
Just think about it. I mean, how long has it been since he made the saber, which he did in a month for that? How long has it been since then?
It's been a bit of a while.
Citizen Con, so been
so he's had a good old chunk of time to do something else for sure.
Well, he's made the box for Citizen Con, so like I said, you'll have a chance to win that.
Life-size javelin, maybe. Outside the front. Oh my god!
So his big thing is that he does things bespoke, and honestly, one thing I would love to see from him are like cockpit, like imagine this DX whatever being replaced for like an Origin 360 chair or like a 600i chair, you know? I mean,
for people that love StarCitizen, you can't get much better than that.
Could check my bank account.
All of a sudden, Moise is like, I'm not gifting anything until I've seen this website.
Oh man, but yeah, keep an eye out for it. 3 days time.
Cool. So so the reason we was plugging that was the BritizonCon thing. So you can win his item there at BritizonCon. I presume he's going there as well, so you'll be able to meet him and talk to him about it as well. So that'd be cool. And I made a mistake. It's not Friday. Friday is the StarCitizen 21st. The Saturday is the actual BritizonCon event. So make sure you turn up on the right day, as in for both of them. But yeah. So if you haven't got your tickets yet, go and get them. Come and meet us. Come and say
Okay.
hello. Anyway, that's that bit. Right, we're going to go over to ATV.
I just realised I booked my hotel, haven't bought a ticket yet. Should probably do that.
Yeah, that does help getting you in the doorway.
Yeah.
Okay, so on ATV, first up there was just like they kind of, Sandy and Chris kind of just listed all the things that came in 3.0, which was like the custom character.
Sandy mentioned the sale.
And the fact that there was a sale on.
And the fact that there was a sale, not a promotion, a sale. Just saying. Okay, I'm done.
Does that mean it was cheap? The stuff's going to be cheaper?
Yes, of
Don't
course.
trigger Disco. Disco's been lurking throughout the entire show. He's like,
Sorry, Disco.
he said something.
So yeah, it's
Promotion.
So yeah, it's just a promotion. I think that was the stuff that was being released in 3.1. So it's like you can still buy them, but we won't go over that argument.
Can I point out Miz's little note on the top here on the ATV? Because everyone always points out my little note.
I don't care. You can point out my note.
Miz's little note says, "Does that sound a lot?" With the little cheeky tongue sticking out. He's like, I swear he tries to trigger me half the time on these things. No,
it's like custom character creation, surface beacon, improved UI, which is like anything. 5 new ships, 10 turtle doves, and a partridge.
And 2 new FPS weapons. Does it sound like a lot though to everybody?
I mean, it sounds like a lot when you're listing it, but it's like 10 ship weapons and 2 FPS ones aren't too major, I suppose.
Is
Especially
it a
when you
lot
can't get
of what
hold
we
of it
really
all.
want? The way I look at it is it a lot of stuff we really want, or is it just a lot of stuff that they think?
It's just like, it was almost like, smug, oh, look at all this wonderful stuff that's come. And it's like, yeah, but look at all the wonderful stuff that didn't come. Or we needed. But anyway, that was just a little comment. So the other thing I noticed, they were no longer calling the truck stops anymore. They're calling them rest stops.
And the one we're getting is small sized.
Yeah, so we've got a little video of that. So they're going to be...
That'll be quite big.
Yeah.
I
When
can't
they say
wait to
small,
see
they just
Port
basically mean
Alice,
that the big ones are going to be massive.
I can't wait to see Port Alisar gone so we can have the real
They look,
thing.
I have to admit, they do look awesome though. They do look really good. And so a big part of the chunk of the thing was about how there's been split into kind of like 3 parts. So you have the internal section, which is going to be procedurally generated. You have obviously the external look of the station, and the third thing was, I can't remember. It's on the document somewhere.
What do you guys think of instance hangars?
How's it? The instance hangers.
I am so excited for that. Really, really excited for the hangars.
But I mean, like things like Elite Dangerous, they have basically communal hangars where you go inside and you see everybody else. And I guess to them, it's more social and more immersive because their universe is so big. Seeing anybody is like a blessing. But like, what do you think about not being able to see somebody as when you're in?
That doesn't mind me because doesn't bother me because we will still have communal spaces.
Right.
But I'm gonna come out and call it. Or call out my colleagues. I did say a couple of podcasts ago that I thought we would see hangars in the truck stops.
Right.
And then my colleagues said, no, I doubt we'll see that. I think they're going to be on the moons and planets.
I mean, honestly, from what we saw for the truck stops before, they were just pads. So I think...
Show me the video! Get the footage!
I might be calling out the wrong colleagues. It might have been like one of the other podcasts.
Yeah, I was sitting there thinking, I'm sure they mentioned it in ATV.
I was made to feel very foolish.
Seriously, look at him coming at us like that. Seriously. Ladies and gentlemen, say goodbye to Moist Noodle. This was the last time you'll see him on his podcast. It's been a pleasure having him.
You trained him this way. He was nice when he first started.
I was nice when he started.
I think you have a point. I think you did mention about hangers, and I think I've definitely been kind of like, I don't know when it's coming out. I personally I don't really ever care about the hangars too much because for me it's always been, I'm with Myre. I actually quite like the more communal side of it. I personally like going into a tournament with a lot of people, spawning the ship, because also for bounty hunting, it just makes it easier to track people, to hunt them down and follow them. When they're in like their own little special little hideaway space, it just becomes a little bit harder to do that.
I don't think you're thinking of it the right way though. Think of it like Port Olisar. but rather, well, you could still follow the person if you wanted to. They would still go through a door to a hangar, but
And you lose them.
and I'm sure you could probably still follow them into that hangar.
As a bounty hunter, I suppose, like, you know how in Port Olisar there's a flight deck. You go there, the benches, you can look out a window, and it's actually pretty awesome seeing ships land. But if like their windows facing to like where the hangars are, as a bounty hunter, I guess you could like watch for what ships come through, and maybe hopefully in the future there'd be like some kind of, I don't know how they make it work because people come and go whenever they want because they're players, but like a scheduler that shows who's coming in and what hangar, you know.
I think they did
just
say
think
that if you go through a hangar, you'll have to come through a communal point, so you'd be able, you know that they're landing,
you'll
so
see
they're going
them
to come
there as
through
well.
a
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
I
I don't
That's
know.
what I'm thinking.
I think
The way it was, somebody was grumbling. There's a person, I think his name was Lieutenant Winter. He was grumbling about people getting on board their ships and killing them and all these other things. And it was quite interesting because it was on Spectrum and they didn't get much kind of love in return. People were like, "Hey, that's part of the game, dude. Like, just lock your doors and pay attention." And I'm with people that I'm like, it's if you don't like PvP, you're playing the wrong game. This is going to have tons of it in it. So
the thing
and
is,
I want them to have
I would
bounty hunters
rather an open hangar, but I think overall there's no other way of doing it. You could, because, well, at least on truck stops and things, because you can't have every single player having their own hangar attached to a truck stop. It just wouldn't work. So it's kind of obvious that has to be some form of instance to even put that away. But I would still like you to be able to have your own personal hangar that people could come and visit, I suppose. But it's just locking things away is never that nice, but it's how you can get it to work, though. Because at the moment your ship just disappears, so it's going to have to disappear at some point anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like, if you can, maybe they could like make it so it's like a real expense. Like, it's really expensive. You have to pay serious money to rent and to maintain your own private hangar in one of these places.
Honestly, that should be the case. Because that's what makes Elite Dangerous kind of suck. Everybody has billions of credits and no money sink. So, so honestly, we need money sinks, and that should be one.
We need ongoing costs.
Yeah.
We need to have to pay for rent. We need to have to pay bills.
How do you get around, though? Like, say for now, your ship, you land it at Port Olisar and it finally vanishes. It doesn't just sit on that pad forever. So if you had hangars that people can get into, how are you going to get around your ship being there? Like, you're more secure landing it on a pad. So, or do you think?
Obvious, but there is enough space on a single planet to create a
No, planets are slightly different. I'm on about more these truck stops because there's a limited amount of pads and hangars you can have per truck stop.
Yeah, but they don't have to be our personalised hangars at the truck stops. That's what I'm trying to say.
Madness is on about renting it out. Now, does your ship disappear when you park it in that hangar?
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, think of these hangars as the pads we know now, and that's all they're doing to hide the fact that your ship disappears. I don't think these are going to be our personalised.
Oh, they won't persist. There's no way they'd persist. The whole point is that it's instant, so that it
think of it like Freelancer. With Freelancer, when you dock to a station, you go into a hole, closes the door, then the next person goes in.
No, I get that. I knew that's what it was going to be. I thought the question was on about, like, should we own that and it be persistent? A hangar. That's what I thought it was on about.
Well, I don't think so, because it would be unless they procedurally generate
could they do like
hundreds of thousands of
stations? They have stations on Eve where they have a limited number of capacity space, and it's like prime real estate. Do you know what I mean? And the price of these things cost shit tons of ISK because it's prime location. The further away you go from it, the cheaper it gets. But you're further away from the action or whatever the value of the thing is, and in order and it's limited quantities of space that you can buy, and then you could potentially have a business where you could let it out to people or rent it to people to make money.
I'm not against that idea, but bear in mind that we haven't seen how big the stations are. But even if we have a station that has 20 hangars is nothing, And do you really want that many stations in the game?
I mean, what they could do is that with permanent hangars and stuff is that you could go in and they could start charging you, and it is your permanent hangar provided you have the money. If you run out of credits somehow, then maybe they'll just accrue a fine and it'll still stay there because it's not using up any resources. It's just there gameplay wise, you're now accruing a fine. then maybe if you like go to like a certain level, like -2,000, -20,000 credits, then they impound it or you lose it and you still have the fine. But now it's no longer a fine; it's a bounty.
I like the idea of it gets impounded, and then it goes to like gets reclaimed, as it were, with a reclaimer, and then it goes to a storage lot for a period of time. And if you still haven't got it, it then gets crunched, and then that's it. You know what I mean? And it's gone, and you have to pay for it back again when you rejoin the game or something like that.
No, that's an awesome.
You put it in one of those things.
Yeah, I mean that's an awesome idea, and I'd be so behind that if they didn't say that even if you don't have LTI, you're not going to lose your ship forever. They've gone on record as saying that. So
Get ships and games get. I mean, your own personal ones you spent real money with obviously doesn't get crunched, but you have to. I don't know. I mean,
could get crunched. Could still get crunched, and then you have to reclaim it. But like you have to wait a long time because you didn't pay that debt or something. Maybe I don't know.
Right. So for those who don't play Elite Dangerous, I'm going to explain it. With Elite Dangerous, there is a problem in that if you go to a station, right, and say it has 4 pads, and there are 4 ships on those pads, you can't land.
Yeah.
So I am keen to see hangars that aren't owned by players because I want to see those ships despawn so more people can land.
Definitely.
So maybe the compromise is for every station that has a set amount of hangars, half of them are purchasable.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a thing? Because I've said this before when I've been playing the game. I've always felt, when you go to the kiosk or your Mobiglass, whatever, there's no button that says store ship. I mean, the number of times that I just want to be, I know there's someone said to me, you can go to your ship in the thing and then call a different one, but I'm always like, surely
I genuinely think it should be like real life. If you have a ship sat on that pad, you should be getting charged for the time it's on that pad, because that's how it works in real life with boats.
I mean, right now, even though you don't have a button. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, no, I was just saying to Moist was saying he wants it like physically like that, like literally physically. That's it. The ship is on the pad, and then nothing else can go anywhere near it. Those pads.
Right.
Well, no. What I'm trying to say is that's really fucking annoying. Like, I don't want to see ships disappearing.
Locking them up.
And one of the things that does annoy me when I play Elite Dangerous is, like, say I have 3 hours a night to play a game. I don't want to be sat there for 20 minutes waiting for somebody to leave the station. You know, so I do want to see a system where ships are disappearing so more people can land.
Yeah.
So
honestly, I'd like to see both. Well, why not both? Why not have in the same truck stop? Why not have hangars that you can go into that's safe, or for short term, or to pick up a friend, have pads too? Yeah, I think that's the best medium.
Yeah.
Like an airport has. Long term, short term, and
short stay.
Short stay. Yeah, well, that's exactly what I think it's going to be. Because if you remember back to the sitcom demo with ArtCorp, he actually landed on a pad. He didn't go into a hangar. So I suspect there will be pads at the top for just quickly hopping in, completing your mission, and then leaving again. And you'll probably be billed. I'm hoping you'll be billed for the time you spend on the pad to stop people loitering, and then you will also have hangars, some of which I hope that you'd be able to buy, and then half maybe that are just temporary that allow people to pop in, land, and
for a more permanent sort of landing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not sure what the actual timer is on the landing pads, because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah,
I'm sure you've noticed. We've all played for ages, right? Sometimes it goes, unfortunately, you have used up the allotted time. We need to take your ship away now. Please get out of your ship.
I don't think it's a timer. I think it's dependent on how many, because I've literally left the ship on a pad, gone away, come back an hour later, it's still been there. But that's because it's a dead server. But if there's loads of people in Port Olisar who are all requesting ships at the same time, then it will boot your ship.
That makes sense. Pad. That makes sense. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
So what's wrong with that one?
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, what's wrong with it just despawning it when people want it on demand?
Say, for example, I know this is a extreme, but as soon as 3.1 came out, I ran to my reclaimer, ran all the way through the reclaimer, sat in the captain's chair, tried to take off, and obviously I was, before I could do anything, it despawned.
Right.
So, which was a pain in the ass.
What the problem now then is the fact that they just didn't give people who have these big ships enough time to get in their ship, rather than creating a whole new system. The reality is you just need to increase the amount of time that.
Also, that only works one way as well. Like if people are going to the terminal requesting the pad because they want their ship, but if you're coming in to land and all the pads are full, I suppose they could link it to when you come the actual station, but otherwise, then pads are going to remain full. So you would need to take them out. It need to work both ways. But,
I think it's a smart thing to be thinking about. Obviously, at the moment, it's broken, so not many people play. But when you get, like you say, a finished game, and you've got lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of people wanting to do it, then you need to have a foolproof
I think that is what the
system.
hangar system is basically implementing for, though, is to free up places. Because I think they talked about it on the Grim Hex one. Because if you remember when Grim Hex first came out, the side of it's like FedEx but grim. They had the hangars there, and they did say they wanted them usable, and that was what they said right away from the start there, that you'd fly in, and as soon as those doors closed, that you become an instance, and someone else could then fly in that same hangar. So I think it's a better way to produce people, churn people through a station quicker.
You know, there's two things in my head at the moment when we talk about hangars and people being able to leave stations and whatnot. The first is a really cool thing that I thought happened in the 3.1.1 patch was before they took it back down again, they stopped people from being able to spawn ships. I believe just that whole service crashed. So there was one particular server where there was only one ship at Port Olisar. It was a reclaimer. So everybody at Port Olisar all EVA'd over to that pad, and everybody got into that reclaimer and left Port Olisar as one massive group, which I thought was awesome.
The video from that looks amazing.
Yeah. And like, using a real life scenario last night on the way home from BritizenCon, my train was delayed. Some douchebags were stealing copper cables from the railway, and the signals weren't working anymore. So after being sat on the train for 2 hours, I was starting to arrange a minibus, and was considering arranging a minibus and just grabbing a whole load of people also coming back to Newport and saying, right, let's just get home. And like, I would kind of like to see scenarios like that in the game where
that's what the Argo's for. If the pad's malfunction, you get the Argo to transport people over to the other side.
You know, it would be kind of cool to see them have logistical issues in the game that are gameplay mechanics and intentional.
I think we will see that. I do think we will see malfunction in systems and things like that, so that pads no longer work at the moment or something like that. And you've got to go to a different station or land on a different area. But yeah.
Let's move on to the next bit of ATV.
So, most of it was about the sort of the hangar system and the truck stops mostly. I think they had so the interior was going to be procedurally generated, but one of the things they did say with that is it's not so much going to change the actual layout of the interior, but it'll be the sides of the rooms. They're going to be kind of standard, but what they'll do is they'll put props in different places and move things around so that it looks like it's a different station, which I don't know how I feel about that sometimes, because I do worry that procedurally generated stuff, having too much of it, ends up looking too much like procedurally generated stations and you're on the same one.
So there's a company in Germany called Hofhauses, or Hofhomes, whatever they're called. And essentially they create contemporary homes, but they're prefab. So they essentially will create the walls, and they're very, very glass intensive. But the thing with hop houses,
I've seen these.
I love hop houses. So most hop houses look very, very similar, but you have to bear in mind that the thing that really makes them different is the props. You know, it's what the owners put inside them. Yeah. So I'm not that worried about them, you know, having sort of a standardized, sorry about the puppy, a standardized kind of thing, because I do think the props will be a big part of it. Like, for example, you know, the video that we're watching now, it's about like the store signs and posters on the walls and stuff like that. Shush.
No, don't. The puppy's making more sense than you. It's fine.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man.
Shots fired tonight.
Hey, you burned us earlier. I'm burning you now. No,
but from what they showed in the interior, though, there's quite a load of different layouts that they can churn through, and then we're going to get, I suppose, like with the outpost, there'll be ones that look newer, ones that look older, some that look grimier. So there's definitely a lot of kind of mix-up that you can get on those. So hopefully it won't look like you're just landing on the generic. Although they did kind of want that to a certain degree anyway with the truck stops or rest stops. They wanted them so they're easily recognizable as rest stops. So
It's not unbelievable to think that there's a company in the universe, and it probably is in law, that creates these truck stops.
yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, so they're going to be very similar.
Why have they always got the wires hanging up from the ceiling? Like, someone
'Cause
fix
why
things
not?
for a
Hey, have you-
change.
Right, let me ask you a question. Have you
Go
ever
to the-
been?
Yes, I've been to service
Have you
stations,
ever
and
been
yes,
to
they
the
do
Palace
look
of
like
Westminster?
shitholes.
If you walk through the Palace of Westminster and like between the House of Lords and the House of Commons, right, there are wires hanging everywhere where the BBC have had to like tack stuff up on the wall to run like their television cables and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, you know, it doesn't. And to be fair, at Newport City Radio, the place that I volunteer at, I've had to like tack wires onto walls everywhere because like we just don't have the money to buy proper trunking. So I really like the wire thing, really.
I would imagine that what we've seen so far with the wires dangling out is just one
Aesthetic
theme. Yeah, one theme or one
Yeah.
aesthetic for the truck stops, because they've mentioned that depending on the socioeconomic state of a truck stop or region, they will change, and what the NPCs wear will change and stuff. If players decide this truck stop area useless, the next time some player goes there in a month, after a month of no players ever going there, everyone will be in rags, and you can have your wires and
Let
stuff.
me out, please.
Take us with you.
People stopped using us and we're starving. There's no
It'd be
economic.
awesome actually if truck stops like spawned and despawned depending of that on like
Shut
player.
down.
Yeah, exactly.
Closing down sale as you appear because no one's using
Yeah.
it.
I mean, have you heard
Like
of
American
Desire
malls.
Path? Yeah.
Lennon, guns are us. Closing down.
Like, have you heard of Desire Paths before? Like when places like new universities and like shopping malls and stuff are made, like they don't put down pathing for a while. They just like let people walk.
Yeah.
And, like,
Yeah.
they see, and then they
Yeah.
see the natural dirt paths, and then they pave
Yeah.
over those. Yeah, it could be like that. I mean, I'm not saying that they should despawn after a week, but maybe after like several months of gameplay, they're like, you know what? No one uses that.
Yeah.
The NPCs are dead anyway.
Or they use like subsumption and the NPC just go, well, no one's fucking coming here. I'm flying off to another station, and they all just leave it. And you could go to like just abandoned truck stops where because no one's used them or something. And you got
Speaking
one
of
bloke still there sitting there going, I'm gonna get a customer one day.
Speaking of subsumption, I can't wait for the day where NPCs they don't just lean against walls and then stare at posters.
Look like they're waiting for something.
Yeah, yeah. I can't wait for them to do that and then also go, you know what? I fancy going to Grimhex. They call a ship, they go
Yeah.
to Grimhex, and then lean on the wall there.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
AI is going to be a massive part of this if they can get it working and correct. I mean, it'd be cool if like I don't know if it'll ever get to that, like, but like barman, if people have bought enough drinks from it, he goes back to the back and it's like, well, I'm out of stock, and then that creates a whole mission for people to bring more booze to the truck stop or whatever because he's run out of stock. That would
Yeah.
be. I'd love to see stuff like that.
Like NPC tasks we've had since Skyrim. Or even Oblivion. Like, you'd leave, you'd come back, and the NPCs are in an entirely different place because they're still doing their thing when you're gone. You know? So I can't wait, for us to get more nuanced versions of that in this game.
And the next thing that they mentioned was the adding, where's it gone? So improvements made to the functionality between levels, and working on a ton of props and things. So I'll just put up some little props.
It's more like the place, again, it's all this box hand nonsense and just like the overall just kind of like fixing of things and getting shit to work, because everyone's been doing the missions where nothing works, right? You spend hours and nothing works. You can't deactivate or activate anything, can't pick up a box. The box isn't there, so...
That's not quite what it was about, but yeah, it's
that's
more
one of the
about...
things in terms of the-
Well, what they were
Sorry,
saying was they
I'm
were
thinking-
linking its functionality to the actual items, so that it didn't matter if you put that box and it was like a raid up like that one, it opens up and
Oh, sorry.
can be activated.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
It's that if you put it in another level, or if you picked it up and put it somewhere else, it will still act as that box, whereas before it wasn't doing that. It had to be
Okay.
programmed each time and everything. So,
Yeah, we can show out lights. Woo!
and they said the lights were going to be using less LEDs or less resources to make it still look like a light or something. So yeah, just a lot of tweaks, a lot of tuning things. And also destructible
that-
objects was the other thing.
That
they put on there.
that video of the usable is I can see how that would mislead so many people, because people are like, oh my god, things are working, and I'm like, no, that's just an animation. Calm down.
It picks it up and it works. It's perfect.
Yeah.
But no, he's got there's also like the breakable things. I suppose is a big thing. So linking it to you can be able to shoot the lights out, and the sounds will work and link to everything else on that as well. So that's all good. And I think some of them prop stuff was to do with the item 2.0. So like will eventually be like ship components and stuff. All things that we can buy.
Ship flare. I can't wait for. I mean, hangar flare is neat, but it's looking more and more like hangars for a while aren't gonna be
on the way out. Yeah,
or at least they're not gonna be that much of a multiplayer thing. But ship flare, everyone's gonna like come into your ship every now and then. They'll see your favorite ship and how you've laid it out and stuff. Can't wait for that to be more of a thing. So it seems like they already have a whole bunch of different cockpit flare that they've been working on. It's not going to be this month is this crap, this month is this. It's going to be like maybe this month is a bundle of stuff, from what we heard anyway from Friday. So
Give me a Myre bobblehead, please, Sig.
I was going to say like at the moment, like okay, we're trusting very heavily that time to kill will be a serious thing, right? Because at the moment, I certainly won't want to be putting any of my precious hanger flares in any of these ships.
It's gone.
That's true. Hanger flare insurance.
Be gone. Yeah,
Hanger flare
well,
insurance.
that will have to be a thing, right? LTI hanger flare.
You imagine you're going to your insurance thing, and like so before you fly, please fill out these insurance documents, and you've just got pages and pages of every little item that needs to be insured: ship flare, your components, your fuses, your toolkit, your first aid kit. Make sure
five fish tanks, 25 posters for the wall,
the rare fish.
Yeah, like Vandal figure, UEE figure, like all that good stuff.
Nightmare.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I agree though. I agree. Have you lost me?
Yes.
We have lost you.
Yeah, you're like.
Am I pulling a funny face? Oh,
there you go.
Yeah.
That was weird.
That timing though.
I'm pulling a Vandal or something. It's like this. So ugly.
So some of the other stuff they did in ATV. So where are we?
Ooh, there was some good stuff. They've been working on the Vandal, the Pirate Swarm stuff, the balancing, the checkpoint. We talked about the racing, the checkpoint fight races in both space and land, the rebalancing, reputation, which is freaking cool, which is good stuff. That's good for gameplay, right? Go, Myre.
Yeah.
Have we lost you? Microphone.
Ashgard is complaining that it's slightly buzzy. I really don't think it's that bad.
Oh, he's just trolling.
And I am very audio.
Pull me in. There we go. Thank you.
He was actually, he jumped into a different room. It's like, oh no.
He seems fine.
No, I refreshed Discord because apparently my audio was bugging up or something.
No,
so.
it still sounds the same. It's just a little peaky. That's all. But it's not super bad. Like the average Joe isn't gonna notice.
Just Ashgard.
The average Ash did. All right, how's that?
And then here's the interesting. Do you guys like the mesh?
I think it's just Discord quality. Don't worry about Myre.
Yeah, the body mesh breakup. I'm just going to keep plowing on the mesh breakup stuff. Like this was kind of interesting, but we kind of already know this stuff.
Yeah, do you want to just put this? Well, yeah, it kind of was. I suppose we haven't visually shown like the actual body being broken up, but I'll just show it off anyway. So it's just like showing you how they worked out, so you get reduced the clipping and things like that. So how the actual body mesh has been split up into lots of places.
But it was the shoes were looking better. Is all I'm going to say.
Shoes were looking better because that's the most important part. You
The
can go around with
shoes
just
still
shoes
space
on.
Crocs,
everyone.
though.
Did you even pay attention to my shoes yesterday? Did you? What was I wearing?
You're wearing like kind of like crocodile skin type thing, kind of loafer type things, weren't you?
Yeah, that's it. I was wearing crocodile skin shoes. You got me. Well done.
Just crocodile skins.
Carry on. I was wearing Oxfords.
We're waiting for the big surprise. You're wearing smart shoes.
Yes.
But they're not sneakers, so I was just like, yeah.
No.
So the other thing that was really cool, we'll move on from the mesh thing, like you said, we kind of seen it, but was the lightning and the
Ooh.
cloud effect stuff that they were kind of showing off.
Yeah.
That was really. I
and
can't wait to go on a level and
what
on a planet and have that sort of shit going on.
Just on the before we went on the meshes, they did say that they're improving the lighting versus dark background still. So they're continuing to improve because it is known as StarCitizen at the moment because everything is dark.
Yeah.
So
eyes was
that's
so
kinda cool.
so bad for a long time. Do you remember Mark Zuckerberg in was it Levski? Yeah, in Levski.
Yeah. The dark
He
eyes,
just looked like he was going to kill everyone. It was really scary. It's not as bad now though, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah, quite a few people have said it's a very dark looking game. So
It's not, I don't mind dark. I don't mind dark at all. But you do need a degree of visibility, and I like the intensity and the mood it creates. There's no question about it. I don't want to get rid of darkness at all. I think it's a good thing.
It
Get rid of the
depend on the
darkness.
location though. Do you know what I mean? Like
It's just getting that tweak right. They're doing it. I think they'll get there. I know they'll get there because I think it's not that bad right now. It's just a few things like we spoke about, which I'll talk about again in a bit. Actually, is to do with the ping. But do you want to talk about the lightning? The lightning is just fucking awesome.
just leave it up there. Sorry, you don't have to talk about it. It's just there. It's
I'm
pretty.
just like,
pretty.
This is like,
I suppose
this
it's just
is
because
cool,
we've gone
isn't it?
about for a while. We're on about wanting to see storms and things, so it's nice to see that kind
the
of.
thing is,
Honestly, like,
we've seen the effect before in the Squadron 42 demo. If I'd seen it like on a moon or a planet as a weather effect, I think I would have paid more attention to it. But
Yeah.
just as it was.
I would like to
Seen
see it
before.
as a weather effect. That's what I'm waiting for. Just want some of that.
yeah, it's coming. I'm being the optimistic one. It's coming. I was impressed. It was cool. It was very cool.
Weather
Really
effects are
enjoyed
gonna
it, yeah.
make it just that
Mhm.
much better. Which planet, which
Oh,
moons
yeah.
do you think are gonna get the weather effects? Because I think things like Stellan aren't. You know, Stellan is too much like our moon to like have
Yeah.
all that kind of cool stuff.
I don't know which one they're going to pick for that sort of thing.
I'm hoping most of the weather stuff will be on just
Hurston when we get it, maybe.
planets, But
Mm.
I know they said it's on planetoids, which includes moons, right? So it'll be on
I
at least
mean,
one of
the
two
only
of the moons,
difference
right?
between a moon and a planet is like a
Yeah.
moon orbits another body that orbits a sun, so or a star, sorry. So
Yeah.
like it doesn't matter that it's a moon. I mean, like there are moons in this solar system that are bigger than Earth.
Yeah, true.
Um,
That's true.
mm.
That's true. And which ones? So which ones have like do they? I don't know enough about astronomy to be fair. I'll have to research it. But I'm just trying to think which ones have different kind of atmospheres.
Moon wise, I know that
yeah.
Europa is always the one that everyone's always on about, and
Okay.
that has like oceans or whatever. But like
Cool. No, I would like to like lightning. I expect will be on yellow. If I'm being honest. I would expect that maybe. It seems like it might
maybe,
work.
yeah. I mean,
And the one with Legski on it as well,
Mm.
possibly.
hailstones on
Fire.
yellow.
Hailstones and
Uh,
hailstorms. I think to be fair, they all could have lightning. To be fair, it's just electrical discharge.
Hailstones
right?
in a cyclone.
Like, 'cause you got little lightning.
Coming from someone that's driven on a motorbike with no visor part, it's quite painful. Even just rain.
it's got a
like-
shield though, doesn't it?
Yes, have a shield.
Yeah, I
know, I'm only
used to ride
joking.
motocross bikes with motocross helmets and hailstones. Like this part of your face and down it's the worst experience that you can ever go through. Hailstones hitting you
Yeah.
at 70 miles per hour hurts.
I mean, even just rain does, because I had my visor snapped, the glass, the plastic over the front, so I had to just ride my motorbike without it, and it's like stones hitting your face constantly as you drive along. It's like, I used to drive like that, squinting the whole way, just because there's this rain hitting me in the face. It's like, fuck, I need a new helmet, but yeah, so that would hurt.
You know you can replace just the visor, right?
Not on the one I had.
Oh really?
It was, yeah, because I brought it from when I was in down in the southeast, and it was a make that I'd not heard of. And when I looked, I couldn't find it anywhere. So I literally had to buy a whole new helmet. So I went and got a popular brand in the end. Which, yes, I know you can buy new visors. The thing in the side snapped, so I just couldn't do anything to fix it. It was like, oh shit. Anyway, that's so sidetracked, but
Carry on.
Next, the other thing they mentioned was exciting new concept ships coming soon.
What, the Hammerhead and the Eclipse?
No, concept
No,
ship.
Just generally concept.
Oh, yeah.
I just
Well,
like
saying that,
Facebook.
I mean, saying that at the beginning of like I just accept that now as a gimme. It's like, I just kind of no longer. It's like they say, "Oh, we got a new exciting concept ship." I'm like, yeah, okay, fine, I'll wait. And when I see it, it'll be amazing, and they'll do a great advert, and it'll be like the best thing. Hopefully, it'll be a Vandal ship or an alien ship, like a Xi'an or something, or some amazing capital Xi'an ship.
It needs to be more alien.
Oh,
Please
yeah.
give us more.
Aliens.
What did you guys think
Um,
about that Xi'an ship, though?
That's sick. Yeah, the inside.
The internal ones, you mean?
The one from the Citizen Con, like they just showed like, oh yeah, I'm working on this Xi'an ship. They didn't tell us what it was. They only have one Xi'an multi crew ship name. That's the Volpa. Whether or not this is the Volpa they're showing us is a whole different thing. But I just thought it looked really cool. Really cool.
I like the lighting. The lighting was just so sexy.
Yeah. Oh, I like. I mean, I'm a big Vandal. I like the Vandal ships. I want to get one, so I'm just deciding which one to get at the moment.
Can't
Wait,
get
so
any
the
at the
new-
moment, can we? Until they're on sale. I mean, promotion.
Fuck, honestly. It's the most ridiculous thing. I don't want to talk about it.
Alex, I kept looking,
I'll
thinking
say
I
this,
would love
the-
to get one of the alien ships
Not
now. I
really
think I've had enough of normal
Not
ones,
really
and then it's like,
true.
oh, I can't get any, and I have to
Watching-
complete Vandal Swarm as well.
I can't even think is I can't. Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I can't even save up. Put a little bit of money aside, and then like I have to plan. I'd have to plan specifically for when the sales come out in November and go right. I need
Promotion.
to save exactly this amount. Yeah, for the promotion period of time to hit it, and then I've got to hope that they don't do one of those stupid packages where they give it away with other ships and then make it really expensive. Like that just.
But you have to do. I mean, I did do
Oh,
Vandal Swarm in a past thing, and it said I unlocked it, and I've lost my ability to buy it now as well. So I now have to redo Vandal Swarm as well.
I've realised something while we watched this video on loop that I haven't really thought of until now. First of all, the hammerhead cockpit is
Isn't it
amazing.
nice? Yeah, I
But
thought that when I saw that, I was like, wow.
Do you know what the hammerhead actually reminds me of now? You know the big American
Constellation.
gunships with the mini guns? I'm on about planes, not ships. It's that. Because you're going to have such an amazing view downwards, you could literally go down to a planet and attack outposts and bases with that thing.
Shoot downwards, yeah.
And just
yeah.
wreck. Yeah.
The view is amazing. I think a lot of people would be happy with that, being able to see it.
What?
full
What do you
power.
People
think
will
the
still
second-
complain
what do you
about
think
the stress
think-
bar. Yeah.
Do you think that I'm just thinking of the way that the seating is like the way that I'm interested in like the hammerhead, like there's two front seats. Those are going to be the captain, or the captain's going to be sitting further back, and the two front people will be like
I don't
You know,
know.
Probably
They're right
turrets
over
and shields.
They're over like an open platform, aren't they? It's completely
Yeah,
pilot,
clear
the
underneath.
pilot and shields. Do you think? That'll be,
yeah, I feel so. Probably pilot on the left, shields on the right. and
Yeah,
then
like
behind.
Starfare and everything else. The captain's kind of back in the middle, isn't he? Almost like where the camera view's from.
Because the captain's not going to see much from that view, is he? Really? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
He's not. No, you can rely on them. They look like them seats. They look like they slide forwards. I don't know. They underneath
do.
it almost looks
They're-
like they're on
they're on a
runners.
track.
Yeah. So instead of you walking across the glass, you'll sit in the seat first, and then it'll take you to the front.
I hope
But
that glass
I
is
think they were
strong.
saying that was
I hope-
coming along though.
I hope that glass is strong, because if it's not, I look forward to shooting it out. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Mm,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
like in lore, the glass is the same strength as the hull.
I know.
That's
Well,
why
it's not
it's
glass.
sort of
It's not glass, is it? It's something else,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
diamond
I know.
laminate.
I've fallen into this trap before. It's not glass.
And they were working on the Eclipse some more as well. It was the
The
only other
Eclipse
thing
was-
on there.
Yeah, wait and see the Eclipse. I don't like personally. I don't like more torpedoes, but it's a cool looking ship, and I hope they get the stealth mechanics working, because at the moment they're broken. They don't work. So I hope that all that kind of stealth mechanics becomes a real thing, especially when you think about things like the Terrapin. Like that scanner's kind of working. It can pick up people from a long way away, but I can't go in stealth mode because we tested it, and I have a my EM signal and my IR, they're all like bugged out to shit. I'm like as hot as a solar sun having a solar eclipse from even when I switch on stealth mode. So yeah, it don't work. Hopefully they fix that. The roadmap, I'm sure it is.
Yeah. So the other
and
thing
then-
that they showed a bit of an update to was the face tech, like just being improved, I think, and it looked a lot better on there, like following the emotion and stuff. I thought on that little interview thing they had. Look really
I
nice.
can't, do you know what? With the face tech, I think it's a similar thing to the conversation we had about the hover technology. It looks maybe good on their servers, but once it actually goes live and we actually get a hold of it, it could be really poor.
Possibly, I don't think we've got that far yet, though. Like this to me, like I've said a lot of time in a lot of games, the facial animation is very hard to get right and actually look real, even with proper face rigging and everything. But I don't know, this one, when I saw this, I was actually thinking they're getting there. It looked, you could see the
It's
emotion
pretty
in the face
impressive.
and stuff. I was impressed with this one.
There's a not safe for work post that somebody posted in the Reddit, and he's basically walking around the female vendor from different angles, and the non-safe for works like part aside, it's actually pretty amazing the amount of shaders that go into like every single wrinkle. Like he stands on a desk and looks down, and she looks up at him, and so like her forehead her forehead wrinkles like because
Right,
she's looking
okay.
up.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's little things that you don't actually necessarily notice until someone points out. But I think that's what makes it, when I was on about the animation not looking right, I think that's what makes it not look right when you see it on something else. You don't necessarily notice it when you're watching it, but when it's not there, that's what makes it look. You just look and think it just doesn't look human enough. And that's why I thought when I was watching this one, and that is actually.
Just the little
when he
things
pulls
like
the
what he's
face.
doing with his hands.
Yeah.
Just little
And he rolls
movements.
the eyes. And
The one thing that does concern me, though, is he's resting his hands on a touchbest
he's got it locked. It's fine. He's got it locked. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Best view of a woman, but from above looking down. Oh dear.
Wow.
Oh, magic.
Let's move on before Madness says something.
Had to go there.
No, I was just going to say he reminds me of Zero Cool from Hackers. That's what I was going to say,
All right.
which is a good thing.
So
what's
last
that
few
from-
things was basically the mobiGlass they went through there. There's not a lot to say on it other than it's just looking a lot better. I think they went over the kind of the format that we've already got.
The gunfire. They also have the gunfire, dude. Like the way that they do the sound and the planet and the way that the distance
That was
and the sound stuff's pretty cool.
That weirded
Yeah, I can't
me
show that, though.
at first, and the reason it weirded me at first, and I couldn't work out why, is because I think it's because the character's moving so much while he's firing. I think that's all it.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't. Why did he just not shoot a different distance? Why was he running back and forth, back and forth?
You wouldn't run like a maniac like that in real life and fire a gun, would you?
It was just
Would
showing
you
off
download
the
a
sounds
gun?
from different. Would you download a gun? But yeah, I think that video was just them showing off the different sounds as he got closer.
Yeah.
It was just a bit ham-fisted the way they did it. But,
yeah, I mean, I get that, but I don't know why he was doing the whole like that as he was
I
doing
don't-
it.
to show it's dynamic, I guess.
I get the point of the video. I just couldn't work out at the time why I was finding the video weird. I think that's what it was.
I got a random like off-topic question, but it's kind of on topic.
We've all swapped position.
We've lost Madness.
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 We've all swapped position.
Stop pressing the buttons.
That wasn't my question, by the way.
Hurry up. Answer
Oh,
your
look,
question,
I'm-
let's go. I'll be back. I trust. Don't do anything. It's just my fucking USB bloody.
One job. That's all he had. Was
It's-
one.
I'm moist doodle now,
Hang on.
so I have to be the
Hang
right
on.
color.
You've got to
There
put
we
a blue hat. Yeah, get
Yeah.
a blue hat.
Yeah, there we are. So do you
So-
reckon that CIG have at least one one band? I mean, like, because employees become friends eventually, right? No. Do you reckon that they have at least one garage band or whatever, like that
still
they
not
come
one.
together and meet up and stuff? Because we have in-game bands like the Lidos.
Yeah.
The merchant there, he was wearing a shirt called the Lidos Never Silent. Do you reckon that like they'd record a song together and then that would eventually be the band in the game? I mean, who made the Full Burn song? Nobody knows. Nobody knows who made the Full Burn song.
Yeah.
So
It- It would be funny if, enough of a meet up. Or maybe they do it through the studios. You could do it through Skype, not Skype.
Did you
but,
put me to a Force Ghost by making me transparent?
No, for some reason, right? He's made like that slot for me is semi-transparent because he thinks it's funny. I think for me to be semi-transparent.
I
Then
thought
it
your
annoys
hair
the
was
hell out of
washed
me.
out, but it's not. Yeah.
It's not. It's the filter on that capture. But for some reason, because normally yours doesn't green screen too well, so it ends up making you slightly transparent. I don't know why.
Well, I seem absolutely fine in Madness's slot.
You
just
do.
saying.
I don't know why. I don't know why.
All right.
It's okay. I've installed XSplit now, so I'll green screen myself, so you don't have
I'll
to go
need
to the
to
effort.
probably zoom in a bit, won't I? Because it was fucking wanked. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Stupid
Right,
bloody
back
thing.
on track. It's okay. Shall we just remain like our alter egos for the rest of the podcast?
You put me in madness this slot.
No, I didn't put you in it. It's just where you turn up. It's all good. It's all
Yeah.
good.
Sorry.
For some reason, I'm still all.
XSplit's
there
the
we go.
answer.
Yes, XSplit costs money.
Behind the scenes.
Doesn't know.
We're experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by, caller.
Yeah, Mercy, you're fine for once. I'll keep that filter on you next time.
So the sound. I kind of want to go to one of these things where they just record sound. That would be fantastic. You know?
Oh,
Just,
yeah.
smashing things and making different sounds and like. Hey,
It seems like a right laugh.
It just seemed a weird thing. They just had a pile of junk, like stick stuff to it,
Yeah.
play, and just sit there and bash things and make noise. Which we did a studio tour in the Manchester, and we went in the sound room and they showed you doing some of that. It was pretty cool. But yeah,
I
the
think
bloke's
being a
just
prop
literally
master
just
in
sitting
general would be awesome because we provide props to Sky and the BBC at work, and the prop masters come in and it's like all they do is shop. Literally just go around looking for shit. I think that'd be the coolest job ever.
Yeah, it's just like, well, what fits? Oh, that does, right? Let's have that. I mean, you drop something one day and go, oh, that makes a good noise. Right, we'll take that into work tomorrow. Let's smash that up.
Yeah. But it's how they make sounds out of weird things. Like, I can't one of the guys, it was Chav Hunter. Chav Hunter yesterday taught me that, like the sound in movies when you have little squeaky toys and when they walk, like it makes a boo, boo. Like,
Yeah.
well, that's not a squeak, is it? That's
Pew,
the noise of turtles or tortoises having sex.
Really?
It's just a generic sound, yeah, but it's yeah.
I mean, I had to do a tiny bit of Foley work for
kinky.
bulkheads. Foley is what they call the sound design, where you make random sound effects and stuff.
Oh.
And when I had to do the captain picking through somebody's brains and going, ugh, nasty. Like I literally just got like a whole bunch of like lotion, and I just that kind of stuff. It's just really fun stuff. I'd love to do that as a job.
I thought you were going to say
so
I
cool.
shoved my hand into a big, huge bowl of rice
Jelly.
pudding.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say like jelly or something, like really dedicated to the cause. I just got some jelly and.
Got some actual pig's brains and just kind of like.
Oh.
Right.
Meshed
But I had to do an American kettle. You know how American kettles, they whistle when you boil them? Yeah. So for some reason I couldn't find a stock one. So I had to I got a bottle of water, got a straw, blew into it, and then I actually whistled with my mouth, I can't even do it now. And then I then mixed them
Squeezed
together,
them.
and it sounded just like it. They're like, wow, it's a really cool kettle. I'm like, yeah.
Yes, my
That's so
kettle is
cool.
awesome.
It's all fake, is what I'm telling you out there. It's all lies. The world we live in is
Reality
full
is
of
just
lies.
being crushed for everybody, and they thought that was a really awesome kettle. It's like, wow.
Oh yeah, and dead bodies were just I have my rucksack I take to conventions. There was a scene where there was a lot of gunfighting and the dead body would hit the ground. So I had my microphone had it low next to a baking tray, and I just dropped my bag on the baking tray. So it's like a body hitting the hull of a ship.
Sometimes it's so crap, learning the secrets of because and it must be the same for Miz, because I think. Well, I'm not going to dox you, but I live in Newport, and they do a lot of filming for Doctor Who around here, especially on the same road that the radio station is based on, because at the top they got old Victorian buildings that they use to pretend to be London a lot. And the first time I ever saw the TARDIS, I knew, the guy said, yeah, they'd be bringing out the TARDIS in a second, and I was expecting this grand moments of
Wheels
lights
out
and
on a
fog,
wheelbarrow.
and they bring out. It's literally fence panels. They bring it out in panels and then bolt it together. I was like, that's shit.
No.
It's bigger on the inside.
Never mind.
That's how they make it bigger. They just take the panels
I'm
apart.
going to go through now every Doctor Who episode. I'm just going to look for moist blue hair in the background. Moving around.
Well,
There he is.
The episode with Kylie Minogue was filmed in the same building as my sister's offices, and they didn't even know that they were filming until the end of the day when they were leaving. That's how secretive they were about it.
probably the only way to be. Otherwise, they'd be swarmed.
Yeah, because when they have random people going on set as like extras, they have to approach them and ask them if they can be on TV, and then give them like 100 quid for it. So
Yeah,
it makes
loads
sense.
of my friends are Doctor Who. In fact, the episode, it was the end of the season finale where they go back to Galente or whatever the planet is with the Doctors from. I don't know. I don't care about Doctor Who. But yeah, one of my friends was one of the Time Lords. And the funny thing is, we're watching the episode. My friend died six times in that episode. It was amazing. Poor guy. Sorry, let's continue.
Someone's got to do it.
The UI was the feature, though, right, Miz? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which is good because the UI is a problem.
The UI is amazing. Look at it. So they were. I mean, they were basically improving the mobi-glass and then trying to sync the UI flow. You're all in the wrong position on this one as well. I just realised. Sync the flow between the different sections. So like Arena Commander and all that lot. So that you if you know how to use like your mobi-glass in one, it would have the same sort of menu in the next one and the next one, which made more sense, in my opinion.
I was going to try and whistle through a straw just to kind of give the authentic Myre kind of feel, but
I'm pretending to be madness right now.
You've moved me.
Oh, that's so...
Hey, I got big smile.
I've done this before. It's fine. I mean, one of the pictures they did put up, which was, I think this one.
I mean, it's
what I was trying to
cool.
say. It's kind of like
gear,
Doctor
right?
because they're showing guns and it's still highlighting the helmet, which made me laugh. But
that's one of the criticisms that I have of the mobi-glass at the moment. Like, I was looking at my ship loadout the other day for the first time. I never really cared about the guns and paid attention, but I'm thinking maybe now I should if I actually want to kill madness. So the thing that I found really, really hard was actually because it's a tree, but it's all in one column. It's actually really difficult to navigate. So sometimes, if say you're looking at turret, it's hard to work out that you're actually on the turret rather than the guns, or on the guns rather than the turret. So being able to see the thing highlighted on the ship, I think would really help.
Which is what we've got with the armor and stuff, and they've also taken it away from that tree thing and split it up, so it's a bit easier to find. To me, the new stuff looks way better. So much more practical.
Yeah.
They've done a really good job, and they've also made it so that, I mean, one of the major changes I think they said was like when you look at the mobi-glass on your watch, before you used to kind of do a weird funky thing with the arm and try and put it wherever you were, whereas now they have a set location, so it keeps coming up to the set. So basically, you're looking somewhere, it'll bring the mobi-glass up, and then it will make the arm come to meet that location rather than you looking at where the arm is, and that's what was causing a load of these weird angled mobi-glass views. But now we actually have it so that you get the full mobi-glass and the arm will just appear underneath, which is a huge improvement.
It's really genius how they did that, to be honest, because before, like, literally you have the animators who are like, okay, we need this animation for looking at the mobi-glass like this. Okay, I think it'll be like this, and then it goes in game, and then it's like all the way out there, and it doesn't make any sense. It's really awesome that they use like actual coding to make it so it's always in the same place.
Yeah, it's huge. And also they made it so that the mobi-glass kind of covered the full screen, whereas before we was getting like a little panel, which makes a big difference.
There was somebody, I can't remember who it was. It was a streamer I was watching the other day that was actually complaining about that because they want to be able to see peripherally around them. Which I kind of get their argument, but I prefer actually being able to use the UI in front of me. Actually, it might have been Madness. Was it you, Madness?
What was I talking about? Sorry, I don't quite understand what you're saying.
No, there was a streamer that I was watching a couple of days ago, and they were complaining about the new mobi-glass because it fills so much space. They want to be able to see peripherally what's going on around them, and they would like to have a free hand as well to pull out a weapon if they want to.
Wasn't me? I mean, I've always hated the fact that when I'm in my spaceship, I have to use this stupid arm thing. I've always preferred the idea that my ship then does everything for me, and then
but I think
information.
I agree with that. But you should everything that you can do in the mobi-glass, you should be able to do through the MFDs and vice versa, in my opinion.
Not even MFDs. I just want the ship the screen. I don't want to see my arms pop up. I don't want to do this. I just want my ship to give me the same as the mobi-glass.
When you're on the ship, definitely, I feel like that should happen.
You know, I just don't want my. I mean, if I'm walking around the ship, sure, my arm comes up because that's legitimately that's my information. Or you know, I could. I don't know. I feel like I want to have both hands doing more things on the ship than being limited to one. Like again, I just, you know, especially when I'm flying around or just about to take off and stuff. I just think it's just a bit weird. Or I want to be able to pre-program as well my destination as well. That's one of my things I love. I've been saying it for ages. I want to pre-program. I mean, I still think the jumping and the way that we navigate around needs looked at again, and jumping to locations and speeding up the process is slow enough as it is. They need to try and figure out how to speed that up, in my opinion.
I just like to interject and just say how goofy that new hat looks.
Which one? Oh yeah, yeah, it does, right?
It's terrible.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I like the fact we've got new clothes. I mean, and they're improving everything, and it's all good. It's all good. Like I said, like I haven't got anything. Like ATV this week was great. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was an excellent ATV. It's great to see Studio Reports back again strong. It's great to see new content coming. Like I said, the roadmap, I'm not really too fussed. It makes sense, moving things around the way they have. I'm excited. Like I said, I'll draw my conclusions about this year at the end of the year. And for now, I'll just get salty about stupid bad communication from CIG. That's about it, really. Everything else was
I
good.
can't wait to see what the new Port Olisar clothing line looks like. Because it doesn't make too much sense to me that Port Olisar has its own unique clothing style. I mean, maybe it's more representative of Crusader because Port Olisar is the link to Crusader.
Yeah,
so it's more like
probably calling it Port Olisar because that's all we've got from Crusader to represent.
If all they're giving us is like an extra 10 t-shirts, an extra 10 pants, and that's pretty much it, I'll be a little bit disappointed personally. When they say a clothing line, in my head, I'm expecting like a store full of stuff.
I'm expecting a runway. It's like I have to go there in game, you know.
But one of the things, I don't know if you touched on it when I just went AFK then, but like the loadouts. So linking to that clothing thing, they did mention about having custom loadouts. So I mean, they've already shown it in Star Marine, so you can have different loadout for, you know, depending on whether you're doing elimination or whether you're doing the other different game modes, because obviously you play them different, so you might want different armor and stuff. And then it mentioned going down the path of having player loadouts, and so you'll be able to save your loadouts, and then that will be, you know, we have these lockers that have become redundant. Those lockers now will be able to, you go up to a locker and you'll pick your custom loadout that you've already got saved. And I think that's when I'll be more excited for clothing, because I think at the moment it's too difficult to change from one outfit to the other. It's not practical. Whereas if you can just go up to a locker and say, right, when I'm on this station, I want to look like this, and you can just go in, walk through the locker, pick what you want, and it'd be much better to be able to sort of be in a station without your spacesuit and then change when you go to fly out. I think that I'm looking forward to that again.
It's nothing new. It's just good to have it in game. I mean, Grand Theft Auto done a fantastic job, in my opinion, of all the different types of. If you want a meta of how to do, in my opinion, like variety of clothes and like different stores and like, you know, they have you can do all the different bits yourself, but then you've also got the preset. You know, you can get the full suit. You know what I mean? And I think they did a good job. I mean, it's not like it's perfect, but it's a very good system to do. So this sounds like that to me. If I'm
How do you think CIG are going to handle the whole? We don't want you to have a bag of infinite holding for your clothes. How do you think they're going to handle people who want to have different like clothes and stuff?
That's what I'm saying. So it's
going
good
to have to go to like
lockers.
Sorry, go on.
Lockers, and then
Again,
But will it be that all the lockers are all linked, or you have to basically say, I
hope
want
not.
my uniform to be in this ship, and you have to go to that ship for that uniform?
Yeah, we had this talk before, and it's a hard one to know what.
Again,
I mean,
about having money sinks, because we were discussing, or we mentioned this earlier. You know, games like EVE Online, World of Warcraft, blah blah blah. You know, it's about trying to get the money back out of the universe. We have wear and tear. So yeah, give us, you know, if we buy that one shirt, that one dress shirt for our uniform, you know, yeah, I think we should have to go back to X hanger that we left it at to pick it up, and over time it wears down and we will have to replace it. In fact, I'm pretty sure in an ATV a long time ago they mentioned, when they were talking about wear and tear, that you would have to replace clothing. So I'm kind of hoping that, you know, when we buy a t-shirt,
replace
I think
armor. I think
everything should.
clothing's a bit. I think clothing you're getting into. I mean,
It
it's a little
appears
bit
your
low.
wife fronts have snapped.
I mean, there's like for me, it's like limit. I can get like armor degrading and getting damaged. Like if you're like on a like acid planet or something, and it's taking a corrosion damage, you need to repair it.
Mm.
But trousers, jeans, and
Yeah,
stuff.
but it's
and
about
t-shirts.
Gotta wash your underwear.
creating money sinks so we can get money out of the universe.
No,
you know,
but
it's
I like the idea of like you're saying about not being able to carry it around with you. Like the fact of the matter is if I have my favorite T-shirt and it's on the other side of the universe, but there's a similar shop there, I'll buy it from there and I'll have it there and I'll have it there and I'll have it there. And I've bought it many times in different locations so that I can wear my favorite T-shirt. You know what
and
I
then
mean?
once you've got it in the whatever location, however many locations that you tend to hang out at, you're not going to buy it anymore.
There'll be a new design and I'll get a new design. Because that's the way it works. You never really satisfied.
Yeah, but if you're not wearing the
t-shirt,
t-shirts,
right?
then you don't have to worry about the wear and tear, do you?
What do you mean?
If you're not wearing t-shirt, we'll go
wearing them,
commando for everything.
You don't have to worry about the wear and tear. So why would you be worried about the wear and tear mechanic if you're not going to be wearing it to wear it down?
I just think it's a waste of resources. I just don't think it's worthwhile. I think it's fine for the armor. I mean,
But the mechanic will be there, so it's not going to be a waste of resources. If the mechanic exists.
No, but everything is, isn't it, right? Every little new thing requires some sort of memory, right?
Mm.
So that's extras. If you can save that and put it into something else, like food, I mean, we're golden, right? Procedural food, that'd be fantastic. Right?
Procedural food, yeah, because we definitely need procedural eggs
'Cause we need
on a dinner
But
plate.
I'm not against wear and tear as salt, but I just kind of like, I'm not feeling
If
that.
everything's wear and tear, yeah,
But I just
it could bog you down a bit because it's like an insurance. Like that's the whole reason people want insurance. So they don't have to keep going and replacing parts or repairing parts. I don't know. It's like you can go too far.
I'm not talking about having to replace your t-shirt every day.
No, I know.
I'm just
I know.
talking about generic wear and tear. Like if I had to replace a t-shirt, like it wore down if I was wearing it every day for like 2 months or something, which is fairly realistic, then I don't have a problem with that.
I mean, honestly, like civilian clothes probably do have a dirt and damage shader. I mean, like with the level
They have
of
discussed it.
yeah. So you'll probably see that.
Take him to get a dry cleaner. Get a dry cleaner.
I mean,
the grand scheme of things, it's not really a huge thing on my list.
No, I mean the main thing was what Myre was talking about, and I don't know, like I kind of. I don't know what system I prefer, because having to go to a certain place to find an item of clothing that you've left behind, especially if you do have hangars or ships elsewhere. It's like, shit, what ship did I leave that jacket in? Right, hang on, I've got to call up all these ships to find it, or what station? I've got a coat in every port.
I really do not want an inventory system that would essentially be the same inventory system as World of Warcraft. Oh, look, I'll leave this at the bank in Stormwind and go to Darnassus. Oh, look, now I can access this item at the bank in Darnassus as well.
Do you know what you need? You need, like, you guys are Star Trek fans. I'm a Star Trek fan. You just need the replicator device. You just go, beep, 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 beep. Leather jacket today, please. I'll have some chinos today, please. And it just prints it for you, and then you're golden. You're done, and then you can just like melt it down, recycle it, and then
just go to
pay
a
the
shop.
fee for it. You just pay the fee for it, and then you can recycle it and change it.
No joke. When
Take
I
it with
go
you
on
wherever you are.
holiday, when I go on holiday, I will take not that many clothes and just buy stuff while I'm on holiday.
I wonder, maybe you could order something like ASOS, and then they come and deliver it to the station for you in a different private ship.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm not waiting to leave the station until something comes and delivers me my suit. So I can go.
Delivered your spacesuit.
Oh dear God.
Yay! Yeah. Okay. I think we're kind of way off topic. Anything else? And then I'm just going to finish up on some
I
questions.
think that was it, really.
Yeah. So, this is from Little Bit of Madness to Miserable G. Obviously, this is not me. He says, "Why am I on the podcast?"
I thought there was one that said that from Windows.
Good
I don't
question.
That's
We
a
ask-
good question.
We ask ourselves this every day, but someone's got to balance the sweet with the salt. So
To be fair, he hasn't been that salty today, so
he really has.
I think it's because
I
Chris
don't know
was
why.
telling him off yesterday.
Yeah.
Probably. No, like I said, I honestly think this week's been a good week.
It was a nice
I've
ATV.
enjoyed it. I've enjoyed 3.1, and the ATV was good. So why would I be salty? The Chris Roberts asks everybody, will I be seeing you at BritizonCon?
Yes.
Well, no, Chris Roberts isn't there, is he?
No, but he'll be seeing us at BritzenCon.
Oh.
It's obviously not Chris Roberts that's asked the question.
It's
I'm
not.
doing just a little spoiler
Oh.
for you. You know, I mean, he may be sitting there filling out our form, but I very much doubt it.
I don't think it's really Chris Roberts. Like, it wasn't really me filling out a question about myself, but yeah.
Oh, wasn't it?
No, it's very
It might have been.
Can you
his-
imagine,
I hate to burst your bubble of reality over there.
Can you imagine
No.
though? What if he's like, "Hey Sandy, check this out. I'm gonna write a question,
Yeah,
and they're
we-
not gonna believe it's
Oh my
me."
God.
It could be.
You know what?
It
That
could
would
Bet
be
he
the
does
best.
stuff like that.
You could so do that, couldn't you?
You never know. He might turn
up.
up. I mean, Erin Roberts is going to be at BritzenCon, so he may do a surprise visit. Hello, I'm here in the country. Not confirmed, and I didn't. Like, you know,
That would be cool, though. That would be a really nice. Like, everyone would lose their shit, man. if
we've
he
been
fucking
trying
turned
to
up.
get him to go for a few times, but he's always just been because obviously he travels between studios. He's not always in the country, so.
Honestly, that would be. I think a lot of people. Yeah. I would be like.
I'll take
I'll
a
hop
picture
on
with
a
me with
plane.
him then, shall I? When I'm there this year.
Yeah, I'd be like, damn. No, but I'm gutted. I can't go. I can't gutted. I don't get to see Aaron and chat to Aaron and all the other developers and everyone. The guy with the freaking, I forget his name every time. The guy with the best hair in StarCitizen and all the other people. Like,
Oh,
just
Richie?
Yeah, we have
Yeah,
loads
no.
of devs turn
Like,
up.
dude's
It's really cool.
got the
His name's
best hair.
Richie. He has a haircut named after him in the game
Richie.
called
Yeah.
the Richie.
The
Yeah.
Richie.
The Richie.
The
That's what I
Ricky.
thought. Ricky.
Ricky.
So yeah, we're
Next
all going
question.
to BritzenCon except for Madness. Is the answer there?
Yeah. Sadly, got a baby. I'm afraid to deal with coming out at some point.
Coming out soon.
At some point. Question from Flero. Sorry, I just can't be bothered to say it. I'm just so tired. Flero says to Miserable G, what is your opinion on alien races for StarCitizen and how will they function in the verse?
My opinion on alien races, we need more of them, and I hope that they take a big part in. I want to have more interaction with the alien races. I prefer, like I've said in multiple times in other MMOs and things like that, I always want to play the alien. I mean, I'm gutted that we have to play humans in that opinion, because I do. I always try to pick different races, things that aren't human, because we're obviously human all the time, so it's more interesting. So yeah, I think as much sort of interaction as we can get would be best.
As long as they stay
I
off
want
my
them-
planet, I haven't got a problem with them.
I think, causing wars, trading with them. I think everything. We need a bit of everything from the alien races, to be honest.
I think Myre's an expert in the lore, and I think I would be with Paul as well when he talks about lore as well. It's like all the answers is in the lore on this one, in my opinion, how we're going to interact with the races.
Sorry, I mean, like, I don't want to blow my own whistle, but yes, I am an expert, and
You
I
are.
actually
You
have no
are.
idea.
You are. He's such an expert.
I actually caught Galactic Historian last week, and Paul was talking about the space turtles. It was actually really interesting, and I learned quite a lot,
They are really interesting.
apart from their name,
Here's a question for
Xian. Thanks.
same person. Floro asks if for everyone this is if you had to choose a role in the game, what would it be and why?
Space janitor.
The job is yours. I'll find you a
Thank you.
ship, you clean it. We already know
What
why
was the
he
question
wants to
again?
go in the toilets.
What was the question again? Sorry.
He's on his grinder.
If you had a role to choose in the game,
Uh-huh.
what will it be and why?
I wanna at least once be like an in-flight host or hostess in a galaxy in a Genesis Starliner, because that's an actual gameplay loop that they advertise when they're advertising the ship, like wearing that like costume and delivering drinks to NPCs and fixing the in-flight entertainment system and not pouring scalding coffee over the passengers. That's a gameplay loop there.
Please tell
So-
me it's a cute bunny costume.
I don't know about that,
Sure, if that's what you think. No, that's fine.
but it just seems so far out of there that I'd like to try it out. See if it's actually fun.
A road sweeper.
cleaning the verse.
Do you mean actual like your career path, or is he just on about like random
It's
roles?
what role?
you would
Like,
like.
if you had a role to choose in the game, what will it be and why?
That's real or that's fake?
It doesn't. Well, it doesn't specify.
Doesn't
It was
say.
real
I mean,
or
like,
fake.
my
It doesn't
thing would
say.
be more.
It's for us to interpret.
African or European?
I have no idea. I would say for me, I'm kind of torn between two. I've always said I kind of want to do the farming thing, and I kind of my role would be kind of a bit like kind of the Unforgiven Clint Eastwood's kind of character kind of thing, where I'm like a very big badass, but I've retired and I'm farming. But you can hire me if you want me to come and deal with situations because I need the money to pay for, to make things run on the farm. So that kind of thing. You don't come and fuck with my shit because I'll blow you up. But if you want, you can come and hire me. A bit like the A-Team. If you know where to find me, I'll be there, type of thing. That kind of shit. And I can get like Western style. Like I can round up my troops and my friends and get the posse together and go and fuck some shit up and yeah, that kind of thing. Wild West in space, basically.
Right on.
Wicked Wild West.
Freelancers everywhere.
Yeah, well, I think that's that question covered.
And then I think we have two more questions, dude. We have Smelly Same Suit Sam says, this is for everyone. What is your opinion on contract? I'm just going to roll with it. What is your opinion on contracting with others to deliver your wardrobe to you across the universe? What if they blow up or steal it? Laundry insurance. We just opened up a can of worms.
Well, that's literally a thing in EVE Online. Well, not necessarily with clothing, but
I was going to say, really?
If you need stuff moved, then you can hire people to move your shit.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
What if they turn up in it though? I've delivered your suit. I'm wearing it. You didn't specify how you wanted it brought to you.
Good point.
I mean, if it gets here.
You then kill them for it?
Yeah, kill them and take
don't
it. But
put a
then you
hole
need
in
to
the
dry
suit.
clean it. Then it's like, oh fuck, got blood on
I
it.
just do we've got takedown moves by then, right? So just do a silent takedown and then take the suit off them. I think that would be the way to do it.
That's what you could do if you open your locker and it's not where you left it. Like you said, it's on a different place. You could just kill someone that's got the suit that you want to wear and then take their clothing.
Pay the
Kind
price.
of-
I'm not going to lie. I do hope they do some seriously cool, badass, like ninja stealthy kind of like John Wick style suit kind of shit going on. You know what I mean? Like really cool stuff, like alien tech meets assassin stuff. I'm waiting for that because we've been saying before, like the kind of the gear at the moment is very Halo-y, is very kind of conventional, and we're just waiting for that really sexy. We've seen a little bit with the shipjacker stuff, but the bit where the artists have kind of been able to have a bit of fun, and go crazy.
Yeah.
And some alien
Right.
stuff.
I mean, melee takedowns are something that was slated for 3.2 before the quarterly releases was a thing.
Yeah.
And they reintroduced melee attacks, but no takedown or animations. You can like pistol whip someone in the face and kill him, but you can't go right behind them and like take him down yet. At least I haven't tried to press and hold takedown and see.
Yeah.
Not yet. But they look good from what we saw last week, the previous week on the stuff looked pretty sweet. Next one from Floro asks, last question. What is your favorite planet in the game so far? That's including planets from the star map and upcoming planets in 2018. Now, I'm going to be straight up and say I don't know the lore that well. So I don't know that many planets. I'm going to be honest. I don't know that many planets. I don't know. But the snowy ones, and that would probably be.
I froze. I'm sorry.
Now.
I have frozen. There we go. I'm no longer frozen.
Seems like the frost planet.
One with Arc Corp at the moment would be my favorite. Is it Arc Corp
Alright.
or?
Yeah, Arcorp is the city planet that they're
No, not the city one. The one with the snow and the
Hurston.
science one.
Hurston.
Science
Microtech.
one.
Microtech. Sorry.
Microtech one. That's the one. I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
I'd love to see ArcCorp actually when it's fleshed out on that. I'm looking forward to that. I don't think that's coming anytime soon, but with all the industry and being out, seeing a whole planet of just buildings would be, yeah.
Yeah,
I'd love to see Saisei. Saisei is where they develop one of the Misk ships, as well as being like a holiday planet and a festival planet. And apparently it's like got like a lot of like it's Japanese it's a Japanese inspired planet apparently, according to the lore masters. So
Okay.
it'd be interesting to see that as well.
That sounds
in
like
the
a good
game.
one. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, my lore is.
I mean, I
do need to work
yeah,
on
I
it.
don't know lore-wise, but like a sort of one that's actually got jungle and, we've said that quite a few times. An actual planet with atmospheres and jungles and cry type level of detail with plants and stuff. Just want some plants and trees. I want to be and hug a tree.
We discussed it, and the reality is that the planets are like real planets. So there's going to be probably different types of weather systems
and
and
stuff,
biomes within. So you'll get a snowy part, you'll get a deserty part, you'll get like real world, like a watery part and stuff like that. So we might get everything on one planet. We don't know yet. I guess.
I'd like to go to the planet Green in the Ellis system, because that's where the Murray Cup is. So it'd be cool to actually go to the Murray Cup and race in the Murray Cup.
This is why you need to do your lore. This is what I need to. That's my I'm so literally is my weakness. If you had those like trump cards, lore would be like 2. Madness trump cards.
-1 on D20.
If we should do a stream of the top trumps and everyone should have everyone's cards and like list out some stuff. That would be quite fun. We could play a game with it.
Cool.
Right. Okay.
I think that's it.
I don't think there's any more. I think that is it. That's the last one.
That's cool. Excellent.
Yeah, it's a good time to end it. We've slightly run over tonight, so
yeah.
Sorry. For running
so we'll end it there. Thank you everybody for following and joining, and all the follows and the raids and the hosts. As always, I do appreciate it. Sorry we don't always acknowledge it. It's because we're too busy talking about bullshit half the time.
Too cool.
But we do appreciate the support. It's always awesome. Make sure you give Myre, Moist, and Madness a follow as well. All StarCitizen streamers, all fantastic. And as always, !BritainCon. Go and buy your tickets. Come and see us on the 21st.
Yeah. Get your tickets in.
And everybody tweet Madness when we're there and when you're there, and show him how good it is and what he's missing. And if you're entering the competition, show yourself entered the competition. Just really make him feel bad.
I'm gonna switch my phone off and just literally not. I won't. I'll watch it because then my missus will be like, she'll see me kind of moping around the house, miserable. Literally miserable. Like, I'll enjoy it from everyone else's perspective that can't make it, as always. So. But yeah, also, by the way, guys, support the stream, sub us. If you're interested in Patreon, do hit that Patreon button on our YouTube. Check out the YouTube channel. If you've enjoyed it and you're new and you want to see any of the previous podcasts, please go to our YouTube channel and watch some of that. We do have new content coming. We've got some good plans, hopefully this year, that we're going to do some more stuff for other things. We've also got a Dungeons and Dragons that Miz is like an awesome dungeon master. Yeah, he is, even though he's being humble, but he's doing a great job of dragging our ass. If you like role play and all that kind of stuff, we do that on Fridays, Stout and Sturdy.
Roll on Friday.
And then, I stream under a little bit of Madness most of the week. Moist? You stream?
I'll be playing StarCitizen.
Yep, you'll be doing that.
I want to stream tomorrow, but I've had a really heavy few days. I'm really tired, so I might have to have a day off. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just trying to.
Myre, you've already.
Yeah,
you streamed
I stream every day. No, just twitch.tv
Just Myre now.
/Myre, and I stream every day from 4 p.m. GMT until late.
Yeah, I was just confused by your Twitter.
Yeah. My
Twitter says test.
It used to be test. You changed it.
My Twitter, I can't have Myre because Myre is really frustrating. Actually, Myre's been taken by some rando that has one post, and that post says, "Hi,
I'm
and
Myre.
that's it. Yeah.
It's a shame you can't like report that and say, look, they haven't used it. Please, can you give the name over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only way to
Yeah,
get it is to
yeah.
report it by saying they're infringing on my brand. But like,
Do it.
not really.
Do it. Okay, so it's cool. So yeah,
Good stuff.
make sure you follow those guys. And yeah, as Madness says, we'll be doing Dungeons and Dragons on Friday, and as always, Mondays is our podcast for StarCitizen. So you can find us here every Monday. If you missed the start, the middle, or the end, if you missed the end, you won't be watching this. You can find the recap on our YouTube channel as well. So the Asylum podcast goes up on there, hopefully every Tuesday. As long as we get a chance to do it.
We will, and for people that want to listen to it in cars and stuff, we want to put it up onto Podbeam. But the reality is we do have to hit a certain amount of money on patronage in order for us to be able to fund it. Because at the end of the day, this is completely run by us. So, you know, we want to try and make this something that we can run without, you know, if anything happened to our jobs or whatever, we can keep doing it. So, you know, we need your support. Okay, cool stuff.
What do you think? And so we need to find someone to raid. Who do you want to raid tonight?
Yeah, who should we raid?
Let's have a
Who
look.
should we raid?
Let's start from the bottom.
Up from the bottom.
So we've got Moonshiners. We could raid Moonshiners. Right,
Moonshiners is
We've
lovely.
Got, I don't know who the other
Dr.
people are.
Drones.
Two views on Cruisin. Who's that Cruisin? I always like to get new people. Who's Cruisin?
Smash them into affiliateship in one host.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if he's English. I don't know if is he English? I can't tell. I can't hear him. No, he just says English. 23. He's Colorado, so he's American. Sorry, I can't hear him because he's playing Star Marine.
Oh, he's a matador though.
What's
A
that?
funny feeling. It's one of the biggest orgs there is. So
Oh right. Okay, fair enough.
I don't think he's actually that.
Okay.
Just pick someone and I'll do it. This is like the longest part of the show. 10 minutes later, we're still looking. Someone must have.
I would go for Moonshiners or Dr. Drones personally. I know they're two good streamers.
We haven't done Dr. Drones for a while. Is he on?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing a 10 and 8 giveaway, so yeah, fuck it. Yeah, do drones.
Why
I'm
can
gonna
I
do
not
Moonshiners
see him?
and
I'm
next one.
following him. Was it lost the follow?
This is live.
I've been unfollowed from a lot of people.
It's live.
Annoyingly.
He is live. He's live. Brought to you by community subscriber.
The
He's
Doctor
live.
underscore. Yeah, he's not coming
Doctor
up. on my
Dr.
list.
Drones, it's one word.
One.
Doctor, and then DRON.
There it is. He is on my list. I don't know why it wasn't showing. Okay, let's raid him then. There we go. Everybody, thanks very much for watching. Please tune in next Monday, as always. And go
Save
show
the
your
week.
love from the Asylum podcast to Mr. Dr. Drones. He's an awesome guy. Another brilliant StarCitizen streamer. So make sure you go and say
You have a
hello.
raid tab, do you? You have a raid command, do you? No.
No, I don't have a raid command.
Sorry, we'll sort you out one later.
I'm not professional enough for that.
We'll sort you out one. Get you sorted one. No worries. Thanks a lot, Myra. I know we ran over today. I was trying.